Right, there you go. I don't know what happened right there. That was so dumb. Yeah.
YouTube streaming is this way. This used to get me like all the time. I'd be having like a really good week of streaming, and then it's just like, freak, everything just went down the drain for no reason. Great. And my stream will always be like, Ellie, it's fine, relax. And that only make me angrier. And I'm just like, gosh dang it.
I know what you
You guys
mean.
don't get it. I have a goal I'm trying to reach. I'm trying to look professional.
I really like that saber in your background. That looks really cool.
Oh yeah, no,
really
this
cool.
is very recent. I haven't really bought. I have a couple of those Nindroids over there or whatever else. But those were for. So for a second, I was like, oh, maybe I can do some like business photography of like figurines and junk. If there was a market for that, but I couldn't really find like a huge market for that. The photos look good. I have some really good photos of the Nindroids I have. But the Saber poster was just something I wanted. And then right next to me, when I was doing my ReZero reviews, I wanted something that was a little bit more ReZero related. So I have a Shredderika shirt from Sea Tactics right here. Yeah. But that's mainly how my thing went up. I don't have a ton of space, so my brain's like, oh, what can I do with setup? Obviously, I zoom my camera in a bit, so I don't think they can actually see the shirt. I'm not pulling it down because the thing takes like way too long to put up. But that's mainly a thing. I have like a little Oz here, obviously, because there's literal Thunderbirds in Genshin Impact, and I could not plan for that. I guess I could start off with my name. The Lightning Eagle was a thing that I had when I was a lot younger. When I was younger, I really wanted to be a ninja for like, I guess we watched like a ton of martial art movies and stuff like that when I was younger. And kid me was just like, oh, I just loved it. So I was like, oh, cool. And me and my cousin made up a ninja club basically. And then I picked the element of lightning and eagles. Little did I know I had like 2020 or 2015 vision or whatever else. And my vision's stupid good. Little did I know when I would turn 23, I would play a game that I wasn't planning to play after buying a PC. I wasn't planning to buy after not going back to college when I thought I was going back and playing this game live. Everything's a big coincidence, and I don't know why. I have no idea why.
I mean, that's just how life is. I mean,
my PC, I was gonna get a Switch originally when COVID started. And I was like, I'm going back to college, won't be that big of a deal. The Switch was only something I could play when I'm, at school, we're done. I got an iPad so I could draw at school. But then, it turned out it was like a whole year before everything kind of settled down. Or was it 2 years? 2 years before everything settled down? About two?
About two. I don't know why your face cam is like
down.
freezing a little bit. I don't know if that's on my end. It's like flickering, I guess. And it says
I'm not sure.
It's like flickering a bit. So then it's like you're like freeze framing.
Weird.
Is that for the same thing for you, chat? Or
I see it on your stream.
Okay.
It's happening right now. I don't know why though. I'm like Ethernet connected. I'm on my other thing right now. If we have to use a photo, I can just send you another photo if you want. What was I gonna say? No, I'm on my other spot too, so
okay. I mean, this is fine. It shouldn't really be too much.
Someone's gonna type on YouTube in about an hour. Why does this camera keep freezing? Yeah. I can't take him seriously with every face he freezes.
I mean, that's fine.
But yeah, no. So the PC, I was originally gonna get a gaming laptop. I had a whole other YouTube thing before this, but I'm not gonna go too much detail about that. As far as I'm aware, it was previous business. It didn't work. But my laptop couldn't handle any games. I originally, a long time ago, wanted to play like Overwatch on stream, Street Fighter 5 on stream, and then those things didn't pan out because my laptop couldn't handle anything. I learned a lot about computers after I realized I could not buy a Switch because they were sold out everywhere for that first year.
They were.
And I got really lucky. I bought all of my PC stuff right before the new, was it the NTX? What was the model that came out for NVIDIA? The graphics cards? The RTX. Yeah, what was it, like the 6000's Radeon, not what was it? What was the number? Whatever new number it was, where everybody was trying to get $500 for it, and then it got scalped,
Yeah.
like to to like a bajillion dollars. I bought my Radeon pieces, set up a PC for the first time in my life, my own PC. I helped my brother set up his, but I didn't really do anything there. He was just like, just watch and make sure I'm not doing anything, and I was like, okay, good. I'll make sure you don't ruin your PC. Um, and then now I'm here. I was gonna play fighting games originally. I downloaded Genshin because I was doing Arknight stuff on this channel for the very first, and I was like, "Oh, it's another gotcha game. Maybe it's cool." And now my entire channel has been nothing but Genshin Impact.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing with me. I'm like a mix. I like doing a mix. Like talking about like everything getting sold out. I don't know if you know this, but on my first PS5, it was a pain in the ass. Yeah, because I was trying to get it initially, like about when it came out, and then when I actually finally ordered one, it got stolen.
Really?
Then, yeah, I had to contact FedEx. I talked to like 30 customer service
Oh, wait,
people.
pause. Was your shipping FedEx? Was it FedEx? Bro, oh my gosh.
It pissed me off, man.
So this PC I have, right? I got my motherboard through FedEx. They sent it to the wrong person's house. Got a signature that wasn't my name. I had to call them like 3 to 4 times for the guy to find my house. They have my address. My address is there. And at a certain point, I call them and she goes, he needs a visual landmark. I'm like, is he a pirate? Do I have to go stand on my roof and go, over here? I'm waving a flag. Like, what are you doing? Dumb. Sailing the seas? You're in a truck. Pull up your phone. I was like, do they not give you guys GPS? That's jacked up. Is he supposed to be guessing where he's going? Looks like the place.
Those customer service reps, the thing that pissed me off the most was like I remember I was in my computer class like on Zoom. And then the funny part is when I actually got to the checkout screen, I have never ever like gotten that hyped to the point where I like kind of fell over my chair. I like did like a 360-ish to get my wallet so I could put my information. Dude, it was so funny. And then I got it and I was so hyped. And then I talked to 40 customer service reps. It took like a whole 1-2
40?
Yeah, like 40. It was bad because I kept continuously calling. I was like, yo, I need this. I need this PS5 because a lot of people, I don't like, for me at least, I didn't really understand, but I guess it's the same thing with graphics card. Everyone wants like the newest stuff, but I didn't initially have a PS4, so I loved that it was backwards compatible. So I was like, okay, I want to play P5R, and the main reason why I wanted to get the PS5 was because I wanted to play P5R because I played, because I on my PS3 I had on my PS3 I played the original 5. And then that's when I was feeling like really down, I guess, because of COVID. And then P5 made it like better. So then I was like, okay, let me get it. So that got stolen. And then one of the customer service reps asked me, oh yeah, what's inside the box? I'm like, oh, it's just like electronics, because I didn't want to tell them what it was. And then she looks at it like, she's like, okay, let me take a look. Oh, it's a PS5, huh? And I'm like, no. You know what I mean? I don't like, it's none of your business. You know what I mean?
Wow. Do you think? Can I borrow it, fam?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I borrow it?
And then this person continues, like this old person, like old lady continues to talk. She's like, oh, like she was like stealing it or something. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just like, what is going on? And then there was just other people that were like, oh yeah, it's coming on this date, or oh yeah, it's stuck in our facility. And then the sad part is it was 20 minutes away, the facility. I'm like, okay, let me drive there and pick it up.
No, like, no, sorry, no.
You can't pick it up. What do you mean? And I'm just like, this freaking. And then the worst part was I was gonna like give up, but then I was like, you know what? I'll just get it when they're on stock or whatever. And that still hasn't happened to this day, pretty much.
No.
So
I got real lucky with my Switch recently. That is, there's like one in my entire city. There's like supposedly almost, it felt like there was only 3 Switches. I tried buying another one beforehand because at my so I've left my job. I've currently been unemployed for like the last 3-4 months. I was working that job for 2 years. I didn't realize I only took 2 days off of that entire job. It was only part-time, but I worked like every day basically, and I was doing that also. I was in college. No, when I got my gift card and I was like, oh shoot, finally I got like an extra $50. I'm gonna use this for Target. 'Cause that's where I got it from. Great, I'm just gonna buy a Switch now. I buy it, it gets in my inventory, and then they're like, oh sorry, the
Yeah,
Switch is
so
gone.
yeah. Yeah.
We sent you an email. Then I buy another one because it's supposed to be another one. Oh sorry, that Switch you ordered is gone. Sorry that you were looking forward to it. Here's your money back. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm
I'll
like
still
that.
charge you.
I know it, like that thing wasted my time too. That wasted a good like month or 2 months, like just being excited and happy, and then it was like gone. And
I
then
can't believe
everyone,
40 people. 40 people blows my mind.
I
That's
know,
insane.
because I talked on Reddit, like there was like this whole Reddit thing that everyone like who got it at that specific sale, because it's so hard to get it. It's so
Mhm.
hard to get it. So we were all like looking, and everyone was happy they're getting theirs. And I'm like, shit, mine hasn't. Like everybody on the Reddit pretty much got theirs. And then I'm looking, I'm just like, what is it? You know that Lisa Simpson meme looking down? That was me. I was like, are you kidding me? So I'm just waiting, and then essentially I
Oh.
got the refund from Walmart. And then my second one, here's the story. That one, like they decided not to ship it through FedEx, thank God. So
Yeah,
they
yeah,
shipped
thank
it through
God.
this like this different I can't remember what it was called, but it was sketchy as hell because they had like 1 star. So I was like,
Oh
what is
no.
going on? I was like, oh shit, this shit's gonna get stolen. It's bricked, whatever. So I kept my expectations low, but I was still like that little boy during Christmas looking at the window because it
It's
was
almost
COVID.
here.
I'm like, it's almost here. It's almost
Staring out
here.
the window, the
Looking
big,
out
they're
the
like,
window.
his big, wait, how, you said you're 6'5", right? It's 6'5",
Yeah,
dude.
I'm just
Staring
like,
out his
yo,
window.
where's it at, man? Where's it at? So I opened the blind. I'm just like, where's my PS5 at? And then
Oh.
And then I literally did not expect like it at all. So the funny part is it came early. It came way earlier than like, and then I saw the box. I'm like, this isn't real. So I bring it upstairs, and then I open it, and then I'm just like, oh, it says PS5. This isn't real. It's probably bricked. So I open it, I put it in. I'm like, oh, it's not gonna load. So, and then when it finally loads, and I load my Persona 5 Royal, I'm like, all right, we got it.
So
We got it.
that pessimism was alive and well.
Yeah, I was like, I went through those 40 people. I'm done. Like,
Bro,
I'm
I
done.
think my biggest thing with like when you brought up customer service, I didn't have to go to 40 people, but I felt bad because I wasn't gonna yell at customer service. Obviously, this wasn't like
Yeah, I
they're not
didn't
doing
yell.
anything.
Yeah, I didn't yell.
Yeah, but this one guy, he could barely speak English, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
they're full on putting these people on there because they know he doesn't understand what I'm saying, and vice versa, and that's jacked up. So now I'm trying to have like translate what I'm having to say to this guy, and I'm like, they're only doing this so you guys can use him as a shield.
I know. It's so
It's
dumb.
so scummy. I was like, wow, dude. And I was like, bro, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not mad at you. This has nothing to do with you. It's crazy. And like, obviously, the person on the phone is agreeing with me. I kept telling them, I was like, you guys, like, if you can do this, if you can leave this company, because this is going to give you so much more stress than you
Yeah,
need.
yeah. It's really dumb.
Oh my gosh. I was like, Amazon does this and they work people on Amazon. So I don't want them being overworked.
Yeah.
But Amazon gets their stuff done in a day. You can do same day shipping. That's a thing. And FedEx supposedly is one of the people who came up with the tracking number. And they can't keep track of anything. Oh, yeah. No, it's crazy. Absolutely
I don't know.
crazy. I made my it's a budget tier list because I couldn't separate most of the people. My S tier is my S tier. As simple as this. I sent it to you on our Discord as well. That's done. But I can't believe it was also FedEx for you, man. That's what blows my mind. It was also FedEx. I've had so much bad with FedEx. It's unbelievable.
It's really dumb. Like, especially with like Black Friday coming out and like soon, because I'm a huge like I even talked with Hall because we bond with this. I'm like also a big retro gamer, and
Mm.
I'm a big Pokemon guy. I have essentially every single game except for the GameCube games.
Mm.
And I talked to Hollow about it, and then he was like, "You dude, you're like sitting on a gold mine." And I'm like,
I
"I
have
ain't selling this shit." I'm like, "I ain't selling this shit. Are you kidding me?"
There's nostalgia with it.
This
Hollow's
thing
ready
has
to
like,
it's
I
ready
was
to
like,
sell a lot.
I know. I was like, "Nah, bro, I can't. I would rather die than sell this because I like each one of them contains like memory in it because I remember back then. This is why I think my like this is why my parents are so cool, and I guess my parents indirectly didn't know about it because I always tell them about it. So
Mm.
it was back in like Gen 4 Pokemon, like the peak of Pokemon, I guess what I call it. Gen 3 to
Gen 4
Gen
was pretty
5.
high. Yeah.
Gen 3 to Gen 5. So I really, really love these games like to death. So what happened was I was like, hey, can I have the game that my cousins have? They have like this Pokemon Diamond game, they have this Pokemon Pearl game. I really want it. And then my parents were
Mm.
like, oh cool, you don't want the new one? I'm like, whatever, I don't really care. Because I was like, I just want a Pokemon game, man. So I tell my parents this, and I'm like, they probably indirectly did the research and bought me Pokemon Platinum. So I
Wow.
was like, are you kidding me? They actually like did the research on, like, even if they didn't really know that they were doing it, they did it subconsciously, if you know what I mean. So then I was like, big respect, because when I got that platinum, I remember walking with, because one of my cousins like doing it, she came to DC or something. I remember
Mm.
loading it for the first time, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. And then I had like this Turtwig that I loved so much, and then it
You're
turned
like,
into like a Torterra,
"Honey Pat,
obviously. And then
you must greet him when you greet me."
yeah, I know. And then I brought that Torterra. The funny part is I brought it to level 100, and then I felt so proud of that Torterra because I beat my cousin with that Torterra, and that, like, the Torterra that he was using was a hack Torterra. So it was like, yo man, this thing's like my baby. And then this, I hate it because I can't find it anymore. It's technically, if I wanted to, because of like in my Wii, it's still in my Wii and like Pokemon Battle Revolution.
Shadow
So
Revolution was freaking
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, so what I could possibly do is like mod the Wii, but I don't want to do that, and then get it. But like it's there. I'm just like, my Torterra's gone. I don't know where it is, and then I'm just like, technically it could be revived, but I'm
Its
like,
clone is in
it's
Battle Revolution.
like,
All I have to do is
like
find it and clone
all
it again.
all I need is that Torterra back, and then
Listen, this is a premise for a very dark anime where it's like the person's like, you gotta let go of what happened to you
yeah.
beforehand. Your loved ones, you gotta let him pass by. You're like, no! And then
No.
you like try cloning him, but then like the Torterra comes out like evil or something, or like some sort of monstrous Torterra. You know, it's like the whole thing's like, I gotta put him down. He's my old friend. Oh my gosh. I still have my original Pokemon. So my first Pokemon game came from my best friend who, because my parents couldn't buy me it at the time. My brother ended up getting his paid for, but that was like a while later. But I had a Game Boy Advance. I used to have the original Game Boy. I think it was like the big fat brick one. It was it was like a see-through blue one. I used to play like SpongeBob games on it or wherever else, but the Pokemon game was like my first serious game that I genuinely cared about. My friend said he told his parents he threw it out the window and couldn't find it. And he was like, my parents would just buy me a new one, dude. I'm a single child. It doesn't matter. And I was like, okay, well, thanks, bro. And I've never let go of that. And I also need to go. I was reminded in the shower at one point. I was like, I need to go like text his parents and go, you realize your son was such a bro. It's still in my collection. My first Pokemon was Sceptile, Emerald Gen 3. My favorite Pokemon still probably is Wynot, just because I love the color. I still love the way it looks. I think it's probably one of my favorite like adorable Pokemon. My original team was because I didn't know anything about stats or whatever. I was like 8 or 6 or something. I had Sceptile, Swallow, Rayquaza for a while, Harmiana, 2 Mighty-Annas. I was young, so I had like a couple. It was like
Oh,
it was like a
that's
female Mighty-Anna and like a male Mighty-Anna. Forgot what I named them. I think that's a team of 6, right? I'm forgetting something else. Oh, and I think I had a Butterfree at one point. I think I had like an early game
the
team, and I just didn't change the
Butterfree.
thing.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
okay. I was gonna say, because you can't get Butterfree in
yeah, my bad.
yeah. I think
Whatever
you mean Beautifly. I think you mean
Beautifly.
Beautifly. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. And I had them for like the whole game, but I didn't realize I had like a whole early game team. Huh.
You know what's funny? I hate, like, I think my first game, I can't really remember if it was Leaf Green or Platinum, but I think it was Leaf Green. So I hated it because I remember when I was younger, I could not get past the Elite Four, but I eventually did it, obviously. But then
it's a lot rougher in Kanto. Kanto's a lot harder,
yeah,
I'd say.
yeah. And then Gen 3, what is it? Tate and Liza. Oh my god, I hated it because I had a Blaziken team.
Remind me of their types, because I don't remember
The Psychic, the trio, the duo team, the double battle thing.
Oh, yeah. In the gym on the island.
The gym. I hated that so much because I had a underleveled Blaziken, I had a Pelipper, I had a Tentacruel, and I can't remember what, a Swellow, I can't remember what the other two were. But that essentially they covered all of their weaknesses, I guess, as well. And then I just kept getting psychicked or earthquaked to death. And I was like, listen, I hate this. I hate
this. Use water gun, lol. Just water gun.
Dude, if I had Swampert, because I use Tentacruel. And then when I was younger at the time, I'm just like, why the hell does this boy keep dying, man? And then it's because it's a poison type too. I was like, come on, just spray water on this thing. And then they're all like specially defensive, and then I didn't really understand that at the time. And then I'm just like, bro,
no way. Oh my god! I bet you got you got traumatized from hearing the super effective noise of the
I was like, I did that. I kid you not. I did that. This is why, this is what my parents always tell me. I'm like a kid that never gives up too. And now I figured out why too. Because I did that battle at least like 150 times. Because I was like, I will be because obviously I could have trained them and then made them better. But then I'm like, no, we're doing this with this team. So I just kept going and going. I'm like, I will win. And then I eventually did. And I didn't use any like stat items, etc. I was like, I will win. And then I eventually won because, I'm like, this needs to crit. If it doesn't crit, reset. So I had again. And then I had like 3 or 4 things like critting.
You had to reset strats. Dude, restart the stupid Game Boy.
Yeah, I'm just like, I got this. And then the same thing with like the Elite Four in Kanto. I could not get past Lance. I hated that stupid Dragonite and his stupid 2 Dragonairs. I was like,
I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on the fact that like younger you had reset strats, and that means you were okay with the ba-ding with the Game Boy thing, when it opens up.
Okay with that.
Then it was it will do it every time.
I will do it every time.
Oh my gosh, you're insane.
You know what's funny too? During quarantine, I literally spent time because I love those games, so I always go back to it every year. So I made sure that I remember during the Zoom call, because we were just doing basic stuff, and then I was able to multitask. I essentially big brained it because I just had my DS. I have a lot of DS and a lot of Game Boy. So what I would do is I was like soft reset it. So for like shinies, etc. And there's this thing in Emerald where it has broken RNG, etc. So you'd have to run back in and out to reset the frames. So I was like, okay, cool. So I eventually got shiny Rayquaza, shiny Kyogre, shiny Groudon, the shiny Reggie trio. And then I was like, man, this feels good because I earned it. And then I was like, yes, finally. And then, man, I just love those games because what I like about Pokemon games and just JRPGs in general is that they're so like you can go back to them. Like Persona 5, if I wanted to, I could go back to it. Same thing with like Persona 4, I could go back to it. Pokemon, obviously, I can go back to it anytime. And then like this game, like I saw it online because I'm like heavy into JRPGs because there's so much replayability value. That's why I don't really like spending too much on like Genshin. That's why I like spending things in like in real life stuff. Because they're just better. They just last longer. Because I remember yesterday I was so mad. I was about to pull up the $30. I was about to pull out the $30 to get that C1 Hu Tao. I was like, you gotta calm down, bro. I was like, even my chat was like, calm down, because I was so mad yesterday, and then I got like into this like depressional phase for like a good 30 minutes because I was like, Chi-Chi, and then I go to hard pity for Hu Tao, and then after that I had to like wait, and then today I got that C1 Diluc before we had that call. I was so pissed. I was like, are you kidding me? You could have given me Jean, you could have given me Mona, you could have given me Kaching, and I would have just been satisfied. But no, you gave me all the characters you want. Like I
think for me, I wasn't really too much like I had moments. So a lot of times when I was very like I'm not giving up on this thing, were like IRL kind of stuff. So like when I was younger, I ended up like running a race against like the fastest guy in my school, but that's because like everybody pushed me to the line or whatever. We were supposed to be racing the older classmen, but like half of them punked out when they saw him go first. And I was like, all right, bet I got nothing to lose as it is. You might as well try, right? When I was in high school, I was running. So originally, because I had a different YouTube channel and I was pushing that really hard, but I didn't know anything about like video editing and stuff like that now, or back then. When I was a lot younger, I was just like, I'm just going to try this thing. I didn't have too much information about it. We're just going to try to go with it anyways, and I'm going to push it as hard as I could. Not realizing that at the same time, your quality has to improve as well. I was also a bit poor as a kid. So it wasn't like a. It had I been a little bit smarter with my money, I probably could have bought some better equipment. But I wasn't thinking like that because I was like, "Oh, I have a camera. It works. Let's just do that." So my first day freshman year, I was like, "What do I want to do? Do I want to just kind of sit in the background, or do I want to take over the school?" And I was like, "We're gonna take over the school." That's what I did. And so from that point, I said, "You know what? I'm getting my channel. I made my advice channel." I made a website. I handed out my website to people. I ran for prom king. I went to like every dance. I got really well known with like the football team for some reason. I went for football tryouts when I was in freshman year, but then I realized I had a bad back and I didn't want to jack that up any further. And I also just didn't feel like playing football. I just wasn't that interested. It felt more like a family thing. And then when I realized it, my dad was like, "It's fine, dude. I don't care. You're fine." But I took that kind of stuff like really seriously because my dad really enjoyed playing football. And then I did track, soccer. Soccer's when I really figured out about my back problem. And then I played tennis for 2 years, and then I made varsity my second year of tennis. But I did a lot when in high school. I really enjoyed my years in high school. I had really bad days, like that fight day. Like there was some really, as you talked about before, things in high school can get rough. But that's when I kind of realized, like, if I really just want to do something, a lot of people aren't going to do what I'm going to do. Like, a lot of people will be afraid of doing it. And it's not like to rub in their face. It's just like when they realize you can do it and they don't really think of much of you, well, then you might as well get out there and do it yourself, right? A lot of people have this, like, idea in their head of other people that everybody's kind of, this is going to get really rockly in 5 seconds. They're born with talents. But like hard work can overcome talent.
Rock Lee, oh my god.
Oh my gosh, Lee was my inspiration in high school, dude. Oh
Nothing
man.
Wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, I remember this one day because I figured I could do like one arm push-ups. I'm a skinnier dude, so obviously I weigh a little less, but I could do them. I can only do like 5 in a row, but I was like, I'm gonna do 50 of these so that way I can train my strength. I've been listening to rock music.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. And then when I got older, obviously, I did a bit of art for a minute, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like draw art of like models I see on like Instagram and stuff, and that worked a little bit. I got some attention of some really big people. I did some YouTube stuff. I got attention of some really big YouTubers. I'll probably tell you about it later. I just don't make that one as public right now. But every other time it was just like, okay, so what do I need to do in order to get to a place? And then I started realizing I was older. Well, also quality matters as well. It doesn't matter how many places you send the stuff out at. And it took me. I was very stubborn. Like I would be up all night on DeviantArt, just group, sending it out. It'd been like 300 groups. I had days where it's just this month we just send it out to 300 groups, and then I realized like, well, it just doesn't look good, so it just doesn't matter. Oh wow. But then that also taught me not to take like my own failures too seriously in this end. I still have my own problems, obviously. But like people put their craft so close to them that they think it's a representation of them when they fail. But it really honestly has nothing to do with you. Like the failure is a part of the process. There's a couple of really good videos. My dad recently sent me one because I was in a bit of a rant. Failing Forward is a really good audiobook. And then also The War of Art. That one talks about procrastination, and I really love that audiobook. And there's also a TED Talk where this guy talks about the 10,000 hour rule. Are you, I'm pretty sure you're probably aware of the 10,000 hour rule, right?
Refresh me on that. Can you explain?
So to be like a master in anything, you basically need 10,000 hours in a subject. So like if you were going to play the piano, you need basically 10,000 hours on playing on the piano to become a master. However, that rule was skewed. That was for like the very best supposedly in the study. To be about decent at something, you need about like 1,000 hours, I'd say. And so when I learned that, my brain went, "Oh, there's a goal." I had to put it on a timer. I have a little chart that I have to take down because I have to reset it. But I was marking the hours during COVID, like how many hours I spent on one subject. So it was Japanese, my art, I think it was a guitar for a minute. I've dropped that, but I'm aware that I just need to pick it back up. And I would chart out each hours. Each square was an hour that I had on some graph paper. And so to me, it's just like if you can actually put a number on it, then there's a goal, right? That means there's a chance. When I was younger, everyone used to just be like, "Oh, that kid's like really talented, and like maybe the rest of you will get there one day." Because school, they always say it like that, as if kids can't learn anything. They don't teach kids like if you just had the time to apply yourself, you will learn it. Eventually, you will. I do this dumb junk of like, well, you didn't get an A this semester, so I guess, just move on. Maybe another subject's better for you. Like, it's not how you learn. That's how you learn short-term memory. And the worst part is they talk about this in psychology class, so it's not like they don't know. But I guess for me, that's been more of my like stick in the mud kind of like I'll do what I need to do kind of stuff. My brother, however, is way more like how were you where he kind of figured it out with like gaming and stuff. My brother loves shiny hunting. He did exactly what you would do, and I would just watch him do it, and he would just be like, "I love this. This is fun." I'm like, "How are you?"
Yeah, because I have a lot of patience.
Clearly. I do not. I've had to learn.
Like, there's this story that I had in high school. Like, this is one of the instances where there's this like rich guy who would always like flex his stuff. He's like, "Oh, bro, look at my Gucci stuff." And then I was like, "Cool." Then we were playing basketball, and he would keep trash talking over and over again. He was like keep on like doing it constantly. So I'm literally just playing basketball and stuff. And there's this one time. And he keeps like ragging on me. He's like, "Oh, dude, you're tall, you can't shoot shit." And then he keeps
shoot
talking.
The ball.
And then he's like, "Shoot the ball," like all those like naysayers. And then I'm like, "Oh, I'm used to it." And then he keeps doing that, and obviously like my patience grows thin because it's like more and more. And he did that at least 20-30 times when we played. And then I just started getting more and more like angry, I guess. But then I was like, okay, I'll keep it in. And there was this one time where he specifically like pushed me down, and I was like, I was gonna get up and do like because he would always flex, "Oh, I'm a black belt, I'm this," and I'm like, "Oh," and then I'm like, and then like he would always flex that, and then I'm like, "Oh, bro, don't," like, because here's like as a person, I'm like really patient, and I always tell that to Hollow. Like last time I did my podcast with him, I'm really patient, but I'm like that anime character, I guess, that I'm really patient, but if you like piss me off or you hurt someone, I'm going to like come after you. So there's this
That
guy.
Was my dad. I'm gonna get you.
like, I don't even talk like I don't even talk that much. So like for example, if something happened, I would just walk up to him and go. I was literally like, because I was at my breaking point, because this is when I was like in my really bad phase, and then people I guess didn't really understand that. So I was there. I was gonna do so many things to this. I don't care if he was a black belt or anything. I would like the moment I grab you, I was like, yeah, you're done. So like I was like my face turned from what is it called, happy go lucky me, to like what is it, Yuri Yandere, I guess. So I hate that
you're
side.
so dumb.
It's so
I
like,
hate that you use that. Oh,
like I was like, I know it was really bad because people constantly did that to me because, my parents told me because I was like really tall or whatever, people would be just like innate like jealous or whatever. That's what my parents told me.
That's it.
And then they were like, "Oh yeah, because they see that you're confident, they're just gonna push you down." So then, oh my god, I was about to like grab this guy, and he's like, "Oh, let's try it." And then I could tell that when I look at somebody, I can tell if like you can either like beat me or not, because I've been
here's a term. If you're about it, are you about it or are you not? Simple as it is.
Because
Yeah.
I can really tell because I could feel like the aura coming off you pretty much if you're like actually, but this guy was just like spoiled, so I was like, I was about to go up to this guy and like grab him and like just here's the problem, like full yawn. I'm gonna keep saying it, full yonder Yuri. I wouldn't have stopped. That's the problem. So then I have to stop myself. Like that was one of the like that side of me. I hope it never comes out. Like I hate it because it's so it's so bad. Like the level of control that I need to have to like hold that in because mind you, this happened like constantly, like pretty much every day, and it's been like an accumulation of like a year or two constantly, and then other people bringing me down. I don't know if if I told you this. One of my YouTube channels got deleted. Because
No.
yeah, so, and
No.
then that was my baby at the time, so for example, a lot of things piled up on me. That's why I tell you that I feel like an old sage already, because most of the people I talk to are really old. Like the people who I vibe with mostly are older than me. They understand. So,
I think
but
for me with high school, you learn that a lot of people around you aren't thinking long term. That was a big thing for me. A lot of people I was around, they're like, let's just go party. I'm gonna go get drunk
yeah,
for like 5 hours. I'm like, bro, you're like 16
yeah, I
and
know.
you're drinking more than like most grown-ups I've heard of. Bro, what the freak are you doing?
I mean, they just vibe in. I mean, they can do what they want.
To me, I guess, I was like, there's so much more you can do with that money. There's so much more you can do with that time. There's so
Yeah,
much more that you can do, like gaining for yourself. And you're only doing it mainly because a lot of other people are doing it. You don't
yeah,
even care, right? That was like a huge thing on my high school years. I used to be like, guys, what are you doing? And then they come back to me and be like, hey, Ellie, I really need some advice. And I'd be like, bro, this is like the 8th time you asked me for this. And I've already told you the answer like 4 or 5 times. No, like you don't want it at a certain point. I get you want to hear it. That's cool and all, but like I'm not wasting time. You're either gonna listen or not, and I'm gonna go about my business. You know, um, it's just what it is. Like, I just again, as I said, my patience can be there if I feel like the situation genuinely deserves the patience there. But if you repeat something to me in a matter that I've already explained it to you, I feel like it makes more sense if I just leave it be. Because then you're gonna realize, oh, he's not playing anymore. He's not gonna hear it unless something changes, right? And people be like, oh, well, then you're not, you're not being there for them if they need it. But honestly, I feel like you're being more honest with them. Sometimes I feel like when people are a little, because this is what me and Hollow get into whenever we have conversations. I'll chew them out because it's just like, if I don't tell him, I feel that's also responsible on me
yeah. So
for
like a
not saying
realistic,
anything.
yeah. It's like a
Yeah,
realistic, yeah,
yeah. I always do that with myself as it is. Like I already talked about with having to do, like obviously my arrogance comes first, as I brought up beforehand. I didn't realize that my quality was the reason why I wasn't getting a lot of places that I wanted to get. But eventually I was like, oh, well, it's your quality. I was realistic with myself. I had to check myself, you know? That's like a big thing. Even like right now with my content and things like that. Because I'm not working currently, I'm aware I'm not doing anything that's outside of possibly making a future career if I got lucky, right? What am I going to be doing in order to ensure my future? And right now, I don't have an answer. I just don't. Um, College is always a place to go back to, but then my brain goes, okay, well, what out of the real 3 majors are you going to want to do in order to make decent amount of money? Like average is fine, but I would probably want to go a bit higher so I can make sure that my future family is probably insured, that they're fine. They don't have to worry about anything. Are you willing to take those hard steps? Because a lot of people won't, or they'll tell themselves they are, and they're not ready for that. Am I? It's a question you have to ask yourself, and most people won't do it. It feels like they just want to kind of live on autopilot, which is fine for some people. If it works for you, it works. I can't say anything, right? If it's working, but for me, that doesn't. Mm-mm. I've never been very go with the flow is very hard for me.
I see. Yeah, I
Oh,
see what you mean. Like this is why whenever I have those, high school really did it to me. It really
yeah.
did it to me. Like like I said, I feel so old now, and I'm like I'm not like one of those conceited people, like trying to be one of those conceited people. Oh, I know more than you. I just feel like I have a lot of experience through that, and then I just grow from it. So even now, I'm still learning. So then I'm literally just what is it called? especially going back to that conversation with the guy. Oh my god, it took every inch of me to like stop myself, because the first thing that happened, like that my brain said, what is gonna happen if you like get this guy, like he's gonna be erased from existence, he's gonna get Thanos snapped essentially
Oh
if I
my
put my hands on
god.
this guy. So then I was like, yeah, let me not do that, because one, for example, if his parents really were rich, I don't want to jeopardize my family. And then the
That's
second
a big
part
one.
is the second part was is like I didn't want also my parents to like deal with this, so that I'm like, this is not worth it. So then I had to like get what is it called? I just had to stop myself. So essentially I just completely stopped myself, and I'm just like, it's not worth it. And people around me were like, oh yeah, you're gonna beat him up, whatever. And then I
They're
just walked away.
instigators.
Yeah, and then I
I
just
love
walked away.
instigating.
Yeah, and then I
My
just
big
walked
thing with
away.
that too is like it's the thing I had to think about when I got older, because like the fight I had in high school, the dude sucker punched me. Like I wasn't like I was just like because he was really angry about a situation. I was like, bro, let's just go to the office. Like let's just get it done, right? Like if we go to the office and everything's settled for you, you shouldn't even have like a big thing. Some girl came down the hallway and gave me his backpack while I was in high school. And as my father pointed out, that was really dumb of me, but I was raised to be helpful. So she was like, oh, can you help me real quick? I just need that. I was like, oh yeah, sure. I grab her backpack, and this dude comes screaming down the hallway, and as I look at him, she's gone. She dipped. He's like, what the frick you have my backpack? And I'm like, bro, some girl just came by. It's not that big of a deal. Let's just go to the office. If you think like, oh, you took my backpack, let's just go to the office. It's just not that big of a deal, right? He doesn't want to hear any of that. He's just angry. He
Yeah.
wants something at this point. So he just like, no, we ain't doing this. He's swearing at me, whatever else. I'm like, bro, it's not that big of a deal. I touch his shoulder. I'm like, it's really not that big of a deal. And he goes, bro, man, don't touch me. Don't touch me. And I was like, all right, dude, if you're going to have a problem with this, just go walk to the office. I'm going to walk right now. I don't give a crap. Come on, let's go. And right when that happens, everything goes black. My whole vision goes black.
Yeah.
I can't see anything. All I hear is like I am slowly coming to, and my hands are up, like I'm blocking the punches, and he's swinging at me. In the back of my head, all I hear is swing, like just screaming at me to swing, and then I start wailing back at him. We start punching each other. We're in the middle of this. We go from hallway to street to the edge of the other side of the place, and we are just swinging. When I went back, there's like blood all over the place. What I realized was like a week before then, I was sitting and watching television, and I had a bloody nose. I was watching television, and that scabbed up. The scab came out, and that was most of my blood was from that nosebleed, and his was all over his knuckles. His knuckle, he broke every knuckle during that fight. Somehow, I don't know how he broke every knuckle during that fight. When we went to because we had to go to a detention school after that. It didn't matter who started it. My school had just like a no fighting policy. And I was pissed, obviously, right? That was like one of the worst days of my school for no reason. I was having a completely fine day. It was raining. I love the rain. I was just being helpful. And then now I get this prick here wailing on me and me wailing back on him. And some person had to separate the freaking fight. And then when I get to the detention school, he can't even write, so he gets to leave. Both his hands are in cuffs or in cast. So he shows up and goes, I can't write anything. And is forced to leave. He didn't try nothing after that. He didn't want anything else. But it took a lot of me. Like I had a really big vendetta for like a long time in my life. Like that taught me like how angry I could feel for seeing one person, right? And eventually as I got older, I just realized like it's not that big. Like obviously I had to think about it like this way. This is things that I was bringing up basically for the point of this was this kid has a family. He's probably an idiot. His family probably really cares about him, regardless of how I feel. He probably has a whole social circle that remembers that he exists and all this kind of other stuff or whatever else. And like, he's still a person. Like I had to remember that. Like I was like, when I mean I was, I would see this punk in the hallway, and my brain just was like, just get him. Just get him. Right?
Oh my god,
that was so
frame
unreasonable.
of you was so funny.
But did it freeze at it?
Yeah, and freeze at like you're like going Super Saiyan. Look at it. Look at
it. But like it took a lot out of me, right? Because like I've dealt with a lot of pricks like that. That was the one thing. But typically, all this stuff situated itself. When I was in middle school, one of my friends starting to fight with me, and I ended up pushing him into a trash can. It was like super I got so lucky with that. It was so funny. He like grabbed me and I like did like some stupid stuff I saw in a martial art movie once. I like put my hand in his chest and pushed, and he fell over in the trash. And after that, he just wasn't gonna do anything. I was like, all right, dude, we're done. And then like another dude in high school, I used to call him a gorilla because he just acted like that with everybody he was with. He almost got into the same fight with another person in the exact same way. It was a lunch line. He's sitting there in the lunch line, and then like they cut people, and I'm like, hey, I'm not getting cut. I had to wait for lunch. So I'm like, hey, bro, I know like two of you. Hey, get in the back of the line, and I don't know him. So he comes over and tries checking me. He's like, oh, you know them? And at first I'm not clocking him. I'm like, yeah, I know them. Like, well, what the heck? Like, he can get behind the other people, but you're not cutting me. And he's like, hey, you know them? I'm like, yeah. Then he pushes me. And I'm like, oh, we ain't doing this. I push him back. And then the lion starts looking at us. Because now we're yelling. And then one of the dude I know goes, whoa, no, I do know him. Stop. We're not doing this. And he's just looking at me. And I'm looking at him. Like, boy, out of ooh. And he does the exact same thing with another dude. I was so pissed when I came at that lunch line. Because my brain was like, bro, you should have swung on him. That's ridiculous. I should have gotten in a fight with that dude. You are, ooh. I put down my backpack. It was like when one day my crush saw me too. I was like really pissed. I threw my backpack down. I kicked my backpack super hard, broke the calculator that used to sit on my backpack. I left my backpack there with my friends. I just had to walk. Like, I just had to walk. I had to cool off. I was like, I'm about to go right back there. I'm about to go find this dude. And then I just went to the office. I was like, it's not worth it. I'm just going to the office. I snitched. I was like, I'm good. I don't give a crap about you. Say whatever you want. I don't give a single crap about you. You're being weird. So, whatever else. RIP calculator. Yeah, I really love that calculator. I still remember it. It was gone. I wrote the crap out of that thing. My friends never looked at me that way before. They're like, wow, he's mad.
You know, I'm really happy. What is it called? Like stepping out of that fight that I told you about, because after that, have you ever seen Seven Deadly Sins before?
I'm not a big fan of Seven Deadly Sins.
Okay,
no,
but have you watched it? Have you watched it though?
I stopped very early. I watched like the first 3 episodes.
Oh, okay. So, do you mind if I say stuff about it or no?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
So there's this part where, yeah, I know why you don't like it. You don't have to say it, but
okay,
yeah, I already know. But there's this scene with the main character essentially when he gets extremely like he can't control his anger, I guess. So he like levels the whole place. So essentially that was me when I was gonna like level the entire place. So then, after that, then I learned how to like his whole trial was, can you control essentially that anger, which he did. He did control that anger, thank goodness. And then he like put it into like he put that anger and then he put it into like this calming sea, I guess. I guess I don't really remember the thought. I can't remember.
Basically conquering your inner self,
your
inner shadow.
So yeah, that's essentially what happened to me. So instead of what is it, yonder Justin, I guess, now it's like yeah, and now it's just like if that ever happened, it's like I'll be thinking while fighting, if that makes sense, if need be. Like for example, I'm like really patient, but then instead of just getting mad and then eating the person out of existence, I'll just like think first, like subconsciously think.
He says, how is it up there? I don't know, let me show you.
It's so bad, but yeah, I was just happy that was over, and like the whole high school thing. And then this is why, this sounds cringy, but this is actually why I got into like really got into anime, and then starting to
I think that's why most people do.
Yeah.
Fiction. So when like I brought this up beforehand. This is the reason why I talk so like unshamefully about like what the 3x3 and like your waifu tiers and stuff like that. Is because that's you. You're learning about yourself. And a lot of people, the reason why they cringe is because that's a part of themselves they don't want to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it sounds like, right? If I was like, oh man, I really like Frederica, but like I don't want to talk about it. Well, then I'm obviously embarrassed about something. Outside of just sounding cringy. Like, yes, there is a type of conversation you can have with a person where it just comes off very awkward. Yes, okay. However, most times than not, if the person you're talking to is not a jerk and you're not being so socially unaware that it's bothersome, you should be able to talk about it. As long as you're not like, I can't wait to marry this character. Like, then obviously,
then you got a problem. Yeah.
She doesn't exist. But I mean, I feel like with anime too, that's like a really big thing with like shonen. And like I had the same thing too. I used to tell myself like, oh, I can harness my anger. That's what I would do. So like when I would run the mile, I would jog 3 laps and then get as angry as I could feel, like all of it I could feel in me, and then just sprint the last lap as fast as possible. Just go, just let it all go. Um, and for me, that was a good outlet for a while. Now that I'm older, I've realized like, oh, I can't use that anymore. Like I just don't have that much anger in me anymore. I just don't care. Um,
But Happy
but
said, you don't just start hitting. You think before, like that's.
yeah,
There was
yeah.
only one. There was only one fight that I didn't think in elementary school. I always think before I fight, but then there were levels to it. For example, like first of all, I would first of all think about it, ask myself if like now I think like freaking multiple steps ahead. So now I'm like, okay, if I fought this guy, what would happen? And like what are the pros and cons that would happen? Like I would think of all this
What
in
is your
like an
strength and
instant.
weaknesses?
Like and then if I did fight against someone, my brain would like analyze essentially what they're doing, like adapt to it. It's pretty great. But yeah, I got to that point where I just learned how to handle it. That's why I feel like a I said this 5 times, like I'm a sage or whatever, and it's not to be like humble bragging or whatever the heck
Are
Hollow
you
is
gonna change
saying.
your? Are you gonna change? Yeah, no, no, no. I can see why I think you would say that, but I don't think you're bragging. I think you're honestly just talking about
Yeah.
your stories. However, Hollow, you were doing that because I called you out on that crap, so I don't want to freaking hear it. Um. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Um. Here's the thing. I think because sometimes what you're saying, I think, can come off as braggish. I think the reason why you're doing that is because you think it's what is it? What's the word for it? It's knowledgeable and good for other people. If they hear it from you, you can be an example for them to think about the action before it happens. I think Hollow does it sometimes for the same reason. However, Hollow, you do it a little bit more for man, that C6 Hu I got. She
Is
just
Hollow here? I don't even think
sometimes
Hollow's here though.
might have left, but he's
Yeah.
gonna watch it eventually. I'm
Yeah.
sure it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He knows full what I'm about to say. Sometimes she just does so much damage, and I can't believe it. It's just like it's crazy. She's like C6 or something. I don't know what's.
I don't know. Like, here's the thing.
Ugh.
Also with Genshin, it's like, people see, for example, Eula. People are like, dude, Justin. Clearly, I love Eula more than you because I have a C6 Eula R5 Broken Pines. I'm looking at them like, what? What?
This goes back to our thing again. One, she doesn't exist.
I know,
The
that's
amount
why I
of
was
money
gonna
you
be like,
spend here
hey, you
doesn't-
want to tell him she like I even tell people this, and it's not to roast them or whatever, but I tell them like this is my part of growth too. I'm like, okay, if she was real, she would be like one of those idols, like the BTS people or whatever.
She's gonna be that really hot girl you're probably not gonna say
Yeah,
hello to, and
yeah,
even if you did, she'd probably again. You have to remember. So another thing I've had to tell people, right, when it comes to anime, the Traveler is almost an interdimensional god who's taken down dragons, who's taking down. He's met like 2 other gods. He's fought the Fatui by himself. When anybody sees him, there's a reason why they're instantly impressed.
yeah.
You have to do all that to get there. You're not just gonna
Exactly.
go talk to her and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you anime fan number 3, I love you so much. Please take me and my vengeance." It's not happening. It's just
Yeah.
not happening. Okay. I think that's my funniest life lesson from Shonen. If you want all that attention, you better be ready to be the Hokage.
I know exactly. I know. That's what I
Everybody
tell
forgets about
people.
those parts.
I know. I'm just like, you need to work really hard. That's why I work really hard IRL. I try to do things that people don't normally like do. That's why I like being balanced in things. I don't like just doing one thing. For example, I don't like just playing Genshin. I don't just study. I like to in the process of like dancing, I like to cook, for example. I'll be like that Shiro Emiya, I guess.
People die when they're killed.
No. I'm like I'm literally trying to take everything that I want to do and put it like on the table because I know that if I become like this independent, different person, I guess, because people could be really good at one thing. Like one of my friends are like geniuses at like this one thing, but I'm like, that's so boring. I like to do so many different other things because one, I'll never experience burnout because I'm literally doing different things constantly.
That
And
will
then
get you. Yeah, as an
yeah,
artist, I can tell you right now,
yeah,
burnout's whoo.
yeah. Like that's
Woo.
why like I remember this one time where I was like, you know, I got in this low point where I'm like, oh man, I just want to drop everything for YouTube, screw school. And then I was like, you need to think about this like rationally in my brain. I'm like, that isn't gonna work. But also
Long-term odds, yeah, probably not.
if you change your perspective of school, which I did, I changed my perspective of school of okay, this is like a game. I want to learn. So like I treat school as a game. That sounds like it's a bad thing, but I treat it like it's a video game, like achievements. Oh, I got a good grade on this. Cool.
Okay, so
Achievement
wait.
unlocked.
Now I'm gonna pull a hollow. It does not sound like a bad thing. In fact, that sounds like a good thing. What are you talking about? All right, go ahead, keep going. Now I'm gonna call you on it. Oh gosh.
Yeah, like, and then what is it called? Like, for example, like what a guy should be, I guess, like, oh, they should be tough or whatever. I'm like, fuck that. So now I'm like, I might try learning how to like sing properly because I want to learn how to sing. I do want to learn how to dance. It sounds cringy, but I wanted to try.
No, it's skills.
What is it called? I wanted to. I even told my chat this. I wanted to try doing the Eula dance as a meme as a ultimate goal for. I don't know. It looks cool. It looks elegant. I like it.
How can one change their mindset with school? I think it's not about school first, EMT. I think with your daily life, you have to find something. So for me, it was like this, right? Originally, when I started doing art, like in general, I saw an artist called Art Germ. I saw him draw Tifa, and when I saw him draw Tifa and how realistic she kind of looked, I was like, I want to do that. Because if somebody else can do it, if someone else can do that with their hands, it means there's a possibility you can do it. That's all I needed, right?
Yeah.
And then as I went through the process, I realized that I can improve. And I think that's a big thing for a lot of people. When you talk to a lot of people, their first answer is, like, if I was like, hey, go learn how to play an instrument, they go, I'm just not good at the instrument. I just can't really do it. I never said you'd be good. I said try it, right? A lot of people, they won't do that because they think subjecting themselves to failure says something about them. And in actuality, being one of the only people willing to try failure says way more about your character. It says that you're not afraid. Your mindset's, that's why I said the mindset's the start of it. When you start seeing failure as a stepping stone, and I still have problems with it, like it doesn't change. It still gets you occasionally. But when you start seeing it as a process you can use to get better places, you can start telling other people. So that's why when sometimes people come to me, they're like, oh, what's wrong with this thing? I can tell them now because I've done it about 100 times already. I drew like an idiot for about 100 times. All my old drawings had all the women look like they had like humongous chins, really big heads. The painting was all over the place. Hair looked terrible. Eyes were real goofy. If I flip the image, it'd probably make me scream now. But it's just what it is. You have to suck at first. And the only reason why you're there is just so you can get better later. It's okay. Supposedly, too, you see your most growth in the first 20 hours, so you're going to be the happiest in those 20 hours.
Yeah, it's like people have this idea of being perfect. It's to be completely honest, I'd rather have a girl or my significant other be imperfect than someone who's considered perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. It's all a matter of perspective. Like whenever I talk to my family, like a lot of them, like some of my siblings. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Okay.
Well, at least I got you one subscriber.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like one of my.
Oh, amen. Bad. That's one of my people.
Okay. One of my because my family is pretty much brainiacs, I would say. They're one of my cousins. She went to Harvard, and her husband is graduated from Harvard as well. And then my other cousins go to like these high-end universities, etc. And then I would always they'd always praise them, and I would ask myself, do you really like? A lot of people always think that they need praise from other people when honestly you should be thinking about it yourself. What is worth it for you? What would make you happy in terms of like a perspectival like way? Because a lot of people will judge their self-worth on other people. Oh man, I got an A, my parents are happy. Or you need to ask yourself, what is it for you? You know what I mean? Like that whole idea of independence. That's why whenever someone subscribes, for example, I'm like, okay, the whole idea of a phantom prodigy is you're like a phantom of yourself, essentially. You're trying to reach that prodigy status, which is your greatest version of yourself, essentially. So
It's
essentially,
getting
you're
really persona in here. It's
yeah,
really persona here. Anyway.
yeah, but essentially, you're like a shadow of yourself. Yeah, it's kind of persona.
If you ripped off your mask,
Yeah, and then like no, but
freed
people,
yourself.
you know, people like it's pretty poetic because when you rip off that mask, like when Joker rips off his mask, that's how like that's how your mind should be. Like a lot of people are like, oh, that's painful. That would never happen, but that's really what you have to do to your own mind to get to that point. You have to like
You have
rip
to
it all off.
expose yourself to yourself.
Yeah,
You have to
exactly.
be okay with it. I've had to learn recently, I think, with more of what I've wanted. I think COVID, that's like the one really good thing is I've had to re-examine everyone around me. I've had to re-examine myself. I've had to re-examine what I want to do. So there's the reason why too I'm not like super rushing to college. I know what I again, as I said out loud, I need it for family's sake, but I
Yeah,
don't know if I necessarily want it for me's sake. It's like
yeah.
a really big thing. Um, like, because here's a good question. Obviously, someone's probably gonna ask you it later. You brought up your grades earlier, right? You talked to me about your A's, right?
Yeah,
But for you, that matters for you, right?
yeah. That
Yeah.
just matters
So
to
that makes
me.
it different.
Yeah, it's like
If it's nothing but
yeah,
ton of other people, then it doesn't matter,
yeah. That's
right?
like what Ellie is trying to say. I think Happy was trying to say about like changing the mindset of school. It's like what is important to you. Like that's why, for example, this again sounds cringy, but the reason why I really like Eula, Makoto, etc. is because I could see that independence that's like growing in them that I had to learn over time.
Ah, I see
So
it.
now do you
I
see it?
see it.
Yeah, because
Yes.
now do you
That's
see it?
very much Eula. Eula is very, I'm having to, she's also having to rise against the stuff that's already been previously put
Yeah.
on her, but she is an individual. She is 100% an individual by herself.
Like,
And
yeah.
yeah.
Like people were like, oh man, I don't like when I look at tier lists, people put her at like B or C. And then I'm just like, and then the other characters are good, but then I'm just like, you know, there's just something about Eula that I like because I'm like, man. And I have that whole thing. The reason why she's also kind of on that number one spot is because I kind of have that whole vengeance thing in my brain. I don't outright say vengeance will be mine, but in my brain when I lose, I'm like,
Younger me would have said that.
no, but like in my brain, I'm just like, vengeance will be mine. In my own brain, I'm just like, okay, I am going to do this. Vengeance truly will be mine. Like for example, the whole thing with Eula's story about her whole family, essentially, her whole background. Essentially, that's what school was for me. Like rising above odds, etc. Like going off of like what you think is right, and then sometimes my brain is a tsundere, I guess, because I'm like, huh. So,
Oh my gosh.
it's the
All
reason.
my friends are freaking tsunderes. Keep going.
Yeah, but then in my brain, I'm just like, all right, I got this. Let's get this bread, and then, yeah, like my parents, what they told me when I was younger, they're like, you could have you could accomplish so much. That's what my parents told me. Because I remember when I was younger in 5th grade, I didn't give a shit. I remember getting C's and D's and people were like coming after me and I didn't really give a shit. But the one thing I hated was getting that shitty award. Like that was the one thing. Like this sounds, there's
like
two things.
like a participation award.
Yeah, yeah.
Good job, Legacy.
I know. There was two things, the two main things why I actually decided to go for honors and AP courses and like do well for the sake of myself. The first thing was getting that fucking award. I got like when I got that award, I have never felt it's like holding like a dunce hat on your head, if you know what I mean. So I was like, vengeance truly will be mine. How dare you? It's like, how dare you do that to me? So like that whole thing about vengeance will be mine thing. That's another one thing. And then the second thing is like what is it called? My friends, and then my parents are like, oh man, this and that. And then I still didn't really give a shit. But the second main reason was like the students there really just didn't give a shit, like in my non-honors classes back then. And then they were just like spitting shit at the teacher, etc. I'm like, I hate this environment. You know what? I'll just take the hit and learn more. So I decided to join like honors classes for that reason. And then I eventually, yeah, and then eventually I wanted to learn, but that whole thing about waifus and stuff, for example, like I just see a lot of myself too in Eula. That's why I really
Mm.
like her. That sounds kind of
You are
creepy too.
you are tall. No, no, that's no
That
pause.
sounds kind
Pause.
of creepy.
Do you know the amount of no? You want to talk about something's creepy? Do you know the amount of YouTube videos that are literally just, is this my girlfriend or my sister? Nah, people
Oh
pick things
god.
that look. No, people are literally picking people who look like them. I don't want to hear it. You're fine. That's completely fine. I'd rather it be your personality than somebody that looks like your sibling. No offense to you guys who are in a relationship. You're already in a happy relationship. Good for you. All I'm saying is it weirds me out occasionally. Okay, that's about it. Anyways, I think what I was gonna say too with EMT, because you brought up that sometimes not my mindset. Unlike Prodigy, I'm kind of the opposite. I've never really cared about school too much because it just hasn't really said much about my intelligence. When I've gone to most classes, I'm typically, even with lower grades, still one of the people in the discussion because I'm decently intelligent. When I went back to college, they were lower classes, but I was basically carrying a lot of those classes. People were asking me for advice. They were asking me how to solve the problem. So I didn't value it as if it was my intelligence. I was very raised because my part of my family went on a craze about this with how the school system's rigged. A lot of the school system is more based off of the work ethic they can get out of you. And it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that it's bad to have a high work ethic or not. It means that in the workforce that is capitalism as it is, there's going to be a lot of jobs you're going to need to get that you probably won't care about. And those
Yeah.
people will succeed if they're doing well in school, probably more out of 10. However, that doesn't make you a good human being or a bad one. Those are arbitrary rules we've made up just for society, because that's how capitalism works. If you don't succeed in capitalism or whatever social structure you have, you're a failure to that society's eyes. But if you go somewhere else, you might be a success, right? You have to find something, especially when you're in your 20s. This is the hardest part. We're all still here. I'm still doing it. In your 20s and early adulthood, you're figuring out what you like in general. In life, when you get out of school, the first thing they say is you should have it figured out already, which makes no sense. So then a bunch of people get confused. They don't understand what they should do. We're about to have a waifu talk right now. And we didn't. Did you know your waifus before you played the game?
Oh
Or did you
no.
have to figure out their character? Exactly.
Figure out their character first.
School goes, you should have known. You didn't know?
Hey yo, she looks hot. You should have
Stupid.
known. Yeah.
You should have known. How dare you not know you should have been in. The other thing too is like they don't talk about schools because Andre's there
Yeah.
with that. Schools teaching you essentially structural integrity and schedule and nothing more. And if you want to talk about scheduling, school's amazing for that. They get you on a work ethic. You leave school and don't do it for a minute, bro. I have to keep re-giving myself a schedule just to get myself back on track.
Yeah.
But the school system does not value or it's not about your intelligence. There are plenty of intelligent people that did very poorly in school because it's boring to them. And then there's people who are very intelligent and they loved it.
Shikamaru in a nutshell.
No one called Shikamaru an idiot, right? No. I mean, other than like his teacher and his dad mainly, they'd be like, "You need to put yourself to more effort, son." And then he realized with that, as you brought up, he realized there were stuff that was valuable to him. And then he got to use it.
And then he got to use it. Exactly. Like how I view intelligence and like being smart, it's not really too dynamic because I just think of simple things because a lot of people overthink, and I'm like that. I used to overthink,
that.
and essentially now I just bring it to simple terms. For me, in my opinion, if you just do the work and you just get through it, because for me, like intelligence, people are like, oh, he's just naturally gifted, and I'm just like, okay, cool, but that's just one thing. I bet you're better than them at some other thing. Like that's what people don't really understand is people are just better than you. That's just what talent is. They're just better than you at one thing. But then you also have talent. You're also better than them at that one thing, but you just haven't found it yet. That's the
Prodigy. I don't have any talent. Have you tried everything?
Yeah.
You tried literally everything.
I
will hold you to that.
Yeah, I know.
I hate when people give me that stuff. I will hold you to it. You better have tried everything.
Yeah, if you're like, I'm just. People are like, oh, when people get really into their brain, and then they're like, what is the meaning of life? Like, this is why I stopped overthinking too much. They're like, what's the meaning of life? We're all just matter. We're all just here. Why does it matter? I'm just like, you make it matter, man. I don't care. Like, because again, this goes to the topic of oh, you're thinking about what other people are thinking of you. You do just live your life for yourself. Just have fun. That's why I see so many college students depressed, stressed out of their mind. I'm just like, and then they're like, oh, I don't have time to do things. I hate when people say that. I'm like, yes, you do have time to do things. But what happens if you don't do those things is what you're afraid of, the consequences. You could do else that, oh wait, hold on.
Oh gosh.
All right, yeah, phone walked in, sorry. But yeah, that's why, yeah, like, that's why, like, I just don't deem, like, when someone's like, oh yeah, this person's smart, this person's intelligent. I'm like, okay, cool, they're good at one thing, but how about this? And then when I see it, for example, one of my friends, I guess I'll give a scenario so it doesn't call him out, but he's not technically my friend because of betrayal issues. I'll tell you that later after stream. But there was this whole thing where, oh, dude, I am literally the most intelligent person. I'm not going to say what place he was in our school because that'd be pretty easy to find out who it was. And then if he backtracks, he'll message or cause drama again. And I'll just sit there with the meme face like, ha. But essentially, this person tried to do other things. And then I essentially like kicked his ass in those things. And then I was like, because school to me is just a stepping stone in my eyes, because I'm like, okay, I can learn, because I'm a very philosophical person. And but for example,
very good. Thinking face, because I'm thinking, I'm listening to him for a response. Shut the frick up. Oh my gosh. You freaking jerk. Andre's such a jerk. I'll just take it. You're such a prick. You're such a prick. I don't know if you've muted yourself or not, because he talking.
Oh yeah, I'm talking. Yeah. But the thing is just in life in general, like, who you hang out with. This is what my parents always tell me this. Who you hang out with is who you really technically are. For example, waifus, again, friends. They're kind of like a piece of you, if that makes sense. Like true friends, you know what I mean? Like they're like a piece of you that you could recognize in them, that you're like, okay, I respect this shit out of them. That's why I like Eula so much. Like if her personality was real, for example, like, I mean, technically it is, but not tsundere freaking vengeance, but I mean like that independence thing.
I mean, you know, I'm not judging you if that was what you. Some people like to, Andre, be punched. You know, that's what it is.
I mean, I don't. I like to be on the other side, but that's another matter.
Oh my gosh,
but
the sun.
But yeah, it's.
Go ahead, my camera's off.
Yeah. No, you're good. But yeah, like, for example, why me and you are vibing. I think we have like a good mindset of things. That's why me and Hollow vibe. We have like a good mindset. Same thing when I interviewed Speaka. Like, we had like a good mindset.
Speaka's professional. Yeah, Speaka's freaking professional.
Most of the people I talk to IRL are like Speaka, so I vibe with her from that. Because a lot of people are literally like Speaka. So I'm like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Like, because for you or Hall, I'm like, hey, what's up? How you doing? And then Speaka, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, it's.
I haven't talked to Speaka much, but that's the one thing I will always give her. Her worth ethic as like an artist, like take it from another artist. It's crazy. Her style is a lot more simplistic, I'd say, but like the amount of detail she adds onto it. I had to do because I couldn't hire her for emotes for a minute, so I just did my emotes myself. For the eye emote on my stream, the Yan Fate emote on my stream, and I think like 2 others I had to do myself, but then I had to like copy her process. I'm like, wow, she's over here coloring the line. She's making sure that the line consistency is the same. She's blurring the line so it looks a bit more fancy. I learned that trick from her now. The way she was shading, very small details. Yeah. Oh gosh, I was like, man, she likes a challenge.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's like what they say: a picture's worth 1,000 words. That's what Speaka's.
Yeah. Speaking about waifu stuff, just because I think I'm so good for probably another 2 hours, but Speaking about that, would you want to talk about her? Oh no, I guess there was a point I was gonna add into this because we were talking about worth ethic beforehand. That's the reason why like half of the people I have on here I brought up earlier, like Vladlina, Satsuki, Priscilla, Saber, and then a little bit with Frederica as well. When you talk about seeing yourself, um, as a person, if I felt like I wanted to be, if I was in a relationship, I'd like to be able to be like a little over affectionate and vice versa. To me, that's just nice. Like I just think it's nice to be able to feel like I can feel open with myself with another person. Um, am right now, like obviously I've told you a lot, but there's like another level of me feeling like I can feel either vulnerable or open with another person that I can't always do. I can't just turn it on and off. It's just a thing there. Um, but to be able to feel like I have that kind of response with another person and they can have that response with me would feel like something I would really enjoy. All those characters will still be stern with me except like Albedo. Um, they would still be able to put me in check if they felt like you're going out of line of your principles, right? Saber in some instances is extremely stubborn,
Yeah.
like very stubborn. Like when she goes running out to go fight Kojiro, right? Kojiro at the steps, I think, in the original Fate route.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she didn't need to do that, but a lot of her stuff is very much so on her morals. Like she has a whole moral system she's going by. She has a goal she wants. For England right now, she needs to do it. She has responsibilities in her mind she feels like she needs to take care of. And I don't mind if someone's like a bit awkward because a lot of like Hinata's awkward. What is it? Violina's awkward. Saber's a bit awkward. I don't care because I feel like if you're open and vulnerable with a person, it shouldn't matter, right? That should be something we'd be growing together in. Like it just doesn't matter, right? There are other characters who are a bit more because like Satsuki. I guess Satsuki's a bit. I guess she'd be a bit awkward in a regular social setting. Normally in Kill la Kill, she's very, she's the gung ho leader, right? Very quiet, very stern, gets what she needs done. A huge challenge. I think I also like a lot of the characters I have on here they're already in a high position, and I think I would like to find myself in my own version of a high position. That's my one thing with like college right now is do I care so much about the position that other people have given me, or do I want to make something of my own? And then my brain goes, okay, dude, this isn't an anime. You making your Twitch as popular as possible. It's not the same thing as being the Hokage. But for some people, it could, right? Reaching the very top, the very pinnacle of things, is something to be proud of. So I don't know. That's why it's the weirdest part with life. They make it a bit more obvious for you if you have or know what you like, right? You can see what's in front of you, but you have to ask yourself the question like, what are you doing? What is your goal? What is this ambition? It's always ambition. Oh gosh, are you still there? Because
I'm still there. I'm just listening.
I want to make sure.
Why I dipped?
No, because the last time with Mike. No, also sometimes I talk a lot, so yeah. But I mean,
but like to say what you were saying, like about Pinnacle and stuff, how I view it is, and how I don't get like, anymore at least, as depressive as I used to, or as depressive as other people are in like college, is I set my own pinnacle. Essentially, I'm just like, when people ask me, they're like, "Oh, you only have 3,000 subscribers." I'm like, "Are you an idiot? That's a lot of people." In my brain.
If we had 3,000 people in the classroom, we'd be full.
Yeah, I mean, and then like even with like daily, because I average like if I even uploaded a random video, I get around like 50. That's really nice. So I'm like, I'm happy where I'm at, and then that's like my pinnacle for now, at least. So, and then everyone's like, "Nah, dude, I need like 50,000 people watching me." I'm like, you need to ask yourself too, are you emotionally stable, responsible enough, and like mentally well to deal with this? Because there's a lot of people like keep trying to bring me down, and then I'm just there like Pepe face meme. I'm just like, heh. Like it's pretty funny.
I'm a little like the other people because I like keeping everything 100%. I do have in my mind, one of the people in the chat have told me this beforehand. I move the goalposts a lot, and I've had to catch myself in doing that quite a bit. I I think normally if it's a video that's not related to like a reaction video, it only get about like I say 50, 60. And then with like reaction videos or certain in topics, like with the Twitter video I did recently, that one did like 900. The reaction videos will do about 1,000 or so occasionally. Timer streams do a lot for Genshin, by the way. So if you ever want to do that, you can do that. That one got me that one basically brought me up, I think, to like 1,000 to 2,000. I was at like 800 before that. But I have goals. Like they are higher up. But sometimes, as you said, when you put your goals so high, you burn yourself out so quick. Like it's my one big thing because I have to keep like checking myself. Like, hey, dude, that's kind of ridiculous. Give it 5 seconds. Like,
it sounds dumb, but I feel like I've figured like through that my past. I feel like I've figured everything out. So I'm just having fun at this point. And then everyone's like over stressing, and then I'm just here. All
right, now I'm gonna be that guy again. That's a humble brag. You clearly have other things you're gonna figure out. How dare you? But no, I can get what you say. I say when you get about like 20, I feel like you can have about 80% of your life figured out outside of like finances and stuff.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
of course I don't have 100% of my life figured out. I've just have that half. So I'm like,
you have a good B, man. I can say you have a B in that.
No, because honestly, I have like a good half because I always strive for like knowledge. So I'm like just there. Whenever I talk to someone, like for example, me and Hollow, we like shoot the shit a lot. Hopefully in the future, obviously, me and you. And then like sometimes I try to talk to Speaker, but Speaker's really busy. So I don't really
busy.
Yeah, that's why I don't really like I'm not like, hey Speaker, let's do this right now. But yeah, honestly, like it's a lot of fun because this is also why I want to get Hollow to get like a Switch. Stop with that C6 Hutao. You should have gotten a Switch, man.
What? So he can also chill at the same time? Yeah, I can't tell him because he has full right to tell me the same thing. So whenever I do it, I'm like, take a break, and he's like, what about you? He's had to like he'll like message me if it's like way late. He's like, go to bed, Eagle. I'm like, shut the frick up, you're not my dad. And then or vice versa. I got, as everybody keeps telling me, and I just realized, that's why I'm saying I'm learning this crap now. You're a workaholic. I didn't know I was a workaholic. And when I told my friends, I was like, yeah, I've only took 2 days off my job before, and they were only for very serious situations. They're like, well, dude, like, why not? And I was like, well, I need to be at work, and I'm trying to make money. How else am I going to make money if I'm not at work?
Yeah. No, I see what you, because a lot of my friends are like that, but then here's the thing. A lot of my friends who were like that, all they think about is school, but then you have to ask, what life did you live when you're 30? That's what I always tell people. And then they're like, oh, what do you know? And I'm like, okay, we'll see. We'll see.
I tried doing both. So like I would take the days I did have off, obviously, not the days like, not the 2 days I called off, just my days off. I would go down to my city. I would go chill. I would just try to go sit back. I always still had a plan. Like I was always like, let's go do this thing. But I just like to wander. I would just go wander around. Or I'd give myself some random new goal. Like I would try learning how to longboard. The most I got to, because COVID hit again, was I learned how to start turning on my longboard. Like I could do it no-handed, just like going left and right. I could go around every situation I kind of needed to. Couldn't go downhill. I'd still most likely die. But it was fun. Like I got to enjoy myself. I played Pokemon Go. I was on my longboard. Have you ever tried catching a Pokemon on a longboard? While going through like I wasn't jeopardizing people. I would look ahead of me before I started, but I'd be like, oh sick, a Totodile. And I'm like riding, like flicking while I'm at the bay. I was having fun, dude. I had my cap on, I had a backpack on me, just because like I like carrying like my Arizona teas and stuff while I'm going about. But like I feel like a Pokemon trainer, dude. I had my music playing. I was playing Lily Cove, but like a nice orchestra version. Bro, I was chilling. I had so much fun. I'd run into people, be like, hey man, how you doing? They're like, oh, how you doing? I'd just have random conversations with people. Bro, I had so much fun.
Andre says that sounds like a road hazard.
I was on the sidewalk. We were fine. It was a very big sidewalk, like huge. We were fine. Oh my! If anything, the dumb part was I could have accidentally fell into the ocean, possibly. That would have been. Oh my gosh!
I feel like the reason why I say I like figured a lot of things out is because it's not about overworking or underworking. I found this like balance, like with everything. That's why I'm like, just chilling. I'm just like, eh. Then everyone's like, oh man, like, because I used to stress hard about big exams. Now I'm just like, okay, you prepared for it. Walk in there and do your best, and then I just put the work on the paper that I put in, and then good results happen. So it's like balance.
I still got that hammer of Damocles over my head. My brain goes, "This is do or die. What are you gonna make of yourself by doing this?" And I'm like, "I will not fail. I'm doing this."
But like a lot of people, like they say, a lot of people view failure as, and I'm just like, whatever. I don't.
Yeah. I guess for me, that's
simply base things.
That's my admission, because as I said, I haven't caught out the whole thing. I still have it. I still know it's there. I'm aware of it. That's about it. I think the best thing you can get for yourself is awareness.
Like, I don't know if you see this on stream, but hold on, may I ask some advice?
I'm still looking
how
at
to do better at school. Is a school just grind on and make sure? It's honestly up to you, Happy. Like, it's honestly up to you. Like, a lot of people say for YouTubers in general, just in general, Happy, like, thought process here, but how people view school, like, in their success is based upon what you think is success. Don't think, oh, like, in terms of asking advice, and good thing you're asking for advice, what do you want to get out of school? That's like another question I want to ask. What do you want to get out of school? Like, as someone who gets decent in school, I would say.
Yeah, no, you did. If we're talking about good grades, you're probably the one here. Go ahead, keep going. I had like a B and like an A, but I was mostly a B person. Oh god.
Oh, like when people get mad, like I get really pissed off at myself when I get like a B, and it's not because, oh yeah, I need to be better than everyone. It's like, oh man, I could have prepared more, and then obviously I can fix it. Like, it's like, for example, this is why I love playing Smash Bros so much, like on the Switch, and I play online. The reason why I love it so much is because,
oh yeah, Pat's here. Keep going. Say hello, Pat.
The reason why I like Smash so much is because it's not the same thing over and over again. It's like when you're playing the game, you have to constantly think. That's why I love playing the game. I think the reason why a lot of people aren't into Smash is because of the whole controversy that happened. I'm not gonna get into that.
It was you skip all roles and smash them.
Let's but yeah. Essentially, I am a huge Eula. I'm not gonna say it because we're on Twitch technically. Oh yeah.
Oh, you're on Twitch too? Oh, you did not tell me. Oh shoot, my bad.
It's fine. Because I'm using Restream, etc. But if you look on stream, I wear this. Okay, hold on. I wear this everywhere I go.
I'm ready to judge you.
I wear this wherever I go.
Weeb! Imagine enjoying something so much that you get to enjoy it outside of like the game.
You know what's funny when you know what's funny whenever someone calls me a weeb, and then I'm just like, cool, and then I bring my philosophical side of myself out. I'm just like, okay, then what is it called? Because words are essentially made up. At least like, yeah, just in general, words are just made up. Then they're just there to piss you off. So when someone tries to piss me off and say like screw you or F you, I'm just like, cool, you just said a made up word technically in my brain, obviously. Obviously it's for communication.
My favorite thing is like most people when they get to their 20s are trying really hard to be young again. That's what I realized out of life. Every one of my friends who were like 16 and trying really hard to be a grown up are really trying to go back right now. So don't give a crap. Have fun. Have some fun.
It's just in general having fun. But yeah, oh, thanks, Pat. Yeah, it is pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of people always ask me what's clanging on your neck, and I'm just like, oh, don't worry about it. And then, you know, I use this also as a stress reliever too. So whenever I feel overwhelmed or anything, hey, thanks for the follow. What I do is I put my hand, like if you look on stream, I put my hand on my chest and then breathe for 8 seconds, and then I go back to my normal thing, and then I just do my thing.
It was to be Prodigy's favorite day when he's gonna be walking down the street and some girl's gonna go, excuse me? And you're gonna be like, what? And she's like, is that a Eula keychain's done. It's over.
Dude, but here's like honestly, like with girls and guys just in general, like a lot of people view girls as this enigma and etc. And then people view guys as just horny on me. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on Twitch, but that's
probably
that's
a lot more stuff.
That's essentially what people characterize like other people at. But this is how I view things. It's like in computer science, how they view instances of an object. For example, like a whole class can be human beings, but an instance of an object is you. You're completely different from each and every object. That's how I view things. Like when people say all girls are the same, all guys are the same, I'm like, okay, you need some help. And my brain,
you clearly haven't been outside for long.
You need to touch some grass, and even if you did touch some grass, then I mean, like, you need to hang out with a different group. That's why I on YouTube. That's why I tell the people that follow me, I'm like, this isn't just because I want to be I want to be famous. In fact, I think being famous is a drag. I just want people to be happier. That's just me. Main reason why I started YouTube was to make people just happy in general. If you're happy, then I can die happy, if that makes sense. That's what I do with other people, and sometimes I have this tendency of messaging people too much because I care about people a lot. So, like, for example,
third day. Like, are you doing okay? I just listen, man. I just told you I sneezed last week. I'm fine.
Like, that's why I try to talk to a lot of people and like family members, and people I think find that really annoying too. But the reason why I do that is so you don't lose that connection, and then like I actually want you to become a better person. That's just who I am. It's like when girls say, I guess, and guys, oh, I want that my significant other to bring me to that top shelf. That's essentially what I love doing in general. It's like, if you feel like shit, I'm gonna make sure you don't feel like shit. It's like when people ask, like, when you ask yourself, would that waifu that you like, would they like you right now? Would they give a chance to date you? Because people in my chat were fighting. Oh no, Hu Tao is mine. No, Hu Tao is mine. Hu Tao doesn't like either of you. No offense. Hu Tao
is a businesswoman, and the only person she hangs around is Zhongli, and Zhongli is basically a god. So the god who made finance.
I know.
In their world.
I'm
saying.
I know.
Also, she hangs out with like Xing Chu, and Xing Chu's like a super book nerd who's also like a high class citizen, right? Yeah.
It's like the same thing with like why people put Ganyu on A tier instead of S tier. They're like, oh, she won't give me enough affection because she's not always here. And then I'm just like, but why do you always want her to be here?
Is this, you heard people say that? Is that what?
Like
my lot thing. We're on tier list. Let's go. No, my bad. Let's go. We're on tier list right now, right? I can never put Ganyu high, or I try not putting Ganyu any higher. I used to have like A, but like she's not. I almost like she's not maybe go getter enough for me. It's weird, right? Because she's like a really hard worker, but maybe because it's not really for her. With me, like a lot of times, like in reverse, I can't say with my channel, I'm a very, I can't say like my channel's point was like, oh man, I wanted to help people. Mainly, I think I just wanted to get big. Like, let's just not even cap. That's just what it is. As a byproduct, however, I have been able to help people. There are times where I feel more motivated to help people. But I think for me with these kind of stuff, especially with my ambition stuff, it's the one time I felt like in my life I could focus on me, just me, nobody else at the same time. A lot of my life was a lot of being forced to almost to a point, taking care of other people when I think I was one, way too young, and then two, it's probably just too much. Like I used to have an advice channel in high school, and that's all I used to ever do. I didn't even realize I had any skills, like really at that point. I was like, I was the advice guy. I'm really good at that. And so like with my YouTube, all this conquest and stuff, that's 100% for me. This is me being big-headed. I'm just gonna look at me in the camera. This is me just saying it. But it doesn't mean I don't get to help people. There have been plenty of people, and they tell me, wow, Ellie, you've helped me so much. You really carried and stuff. And I'm an edgy prick. So I always sit here and go, you know, I just did what I did. It's as simple as it is. But, you know, it's a good byproduct. Yeah. Even if you're like Vegeta and you're a freaking selfish person, it doesn't mean that you won't have a chance to be helpful to other people. Because I think one big thing when I hear it, at least for people who are maybe more like me in this instance, I used to hear all the time, I felt so motivated to help people. And then I look at myself and go, which word? Stop it. Is it me with my hand in the air? I freaking hate it.
I love this.
What was I gonna say?
I love this.
I used to hear people say that, and then I go like, "What's wrong with me for not caring enough?" And then at a certain point, you have to realize that some people, not everybody's built for that. And then, ironically, you just doing your own thing, as long as you're not stepping on people, that's very important. As long as you're not going trying to step on people, you might end up helping people, unironically. That's a thing. Byproduct kind of stuff. Because not everybody who's at the top is doing it for good reasons. Not everybody who's helped people for good reasons. It's just a weird fact of life. And again, I'm not telling you to go out there and be vindictive. I don't think that's right either. In my own opinion, I feel like I don't really like bringing people anything because I don't really feel like it's any of their responsibility. It's my responsibility. So, but at the same time, my success is my responsibility. You don't get to claim that. I do.
You know, like when everyone was
other
talking,
my followers. But go ahead.
But everyone was talking about the whole toxic Genshin community, and people came after. So there's this whole video that I made with Paulo about for the podcast, talking about the perspective of anniversary awards, and then how like, oh, people wanted like a free 5-star, and then I said, for them, like, I'm not saying this for me, I'm just saying for them, that would technically ruin, like, this is how I view it in levels. Like, for example, if you're handed a 5-star with no work, if you know what I mean, technically you pay money if you want that 5-star badly, but you did put in the work to get that money, to get that 5-star. But if you essentially get said 5-star and it's handed to you, you're just gonna throw it away. Like that's the problem with waifu culture in general. Everyone's like, "Oh, I'll move on," and it's really bad.
They don't say they'll move on. They just do move on.
They move on to someone else, and then whenever I see it, it's mainly because, oh, dude, she's like the hottest person or whatever. I wish real women are like that. I'm like, okay, first of all, I think you need to touch some grass. I think you need to touch some grass, go outside a bit, have some fun. You know, there's real people out there, and they're like, no, I need my 2D waifu. And then I'm just like, again, back to my point. Would she date you? And they go silent. And then I'm just like, then that's your answer. You need to better yourself. Like, that's how I view waifus. Like, better yourself, so then they would probably like you. For example, like before, I bet you, I guess I'm a little more confident now, but Eula would not have dated me 5 years ago. Of course now.
Does that mean, are you making the assumption she'll date you now?
No. I'm just saying I have a better chance now.
Oh no, I'm being a prick. You're good. I'm being a prick.
No. I'm saying no, because I don't know what she likes. She's not real.
Hey, you don't know. No. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm like, you know, then I become better. And that's like something simple. It's like when people think, oh, I need to have some righteous cause. I'm just like, just make it simple, man. Sometimes thinking too much is bad. Just make it simple.
Honestly, that's like the issue with most story endings, is because people are trying so hard to reinvent the wheel with an ending versus just finishing it. Like when we were complaining about Darling and the Franks earlier, they were trying to make it bombastic. We're going to go to space. This Evangelion 2. Instead of just ending it, the love story ended.
Code Geass.
Think about how many people would have been happy, or that got real crazy all over the place. Just, I mean, other than, you know, people really love that ending. My point still remains is just let it sit. Like, you don't need all the spectaculars. Now I was gonna say,
it's because people are spoiled. That's why.
I have some counter argument for what you're saying. I understand what you're saying about the value culture. However, I do understand why people are upset with a giant company that, and this is from me playing Honkai as well, so a double experience. They're a bit stingy with their rates. I think it's a bit ridiculous how they've acted in some regards. Yeah, I don't think anybody. I think one mindset, because you talk about the spoil thing. Don't assume you're gonna get anything, right? Yeah. Just don't assume. If it would have been way smarter for you to just assume you were getting absolutely squat, and then whatever you get is whatever you get. Well, you're just accepting whatever they give you. Duh, I don't own the company. I don't know what they're gonna do to me. Like, duh. But vice versa. I'm also like, I can understand the work effort for it, but that doesn't mean they won't value it. To me, I think that's a bit of a leap. You might still, like, if you've been waiting for Mona and you finally get Mona, you'll still be excited for Mona.
Oh yeah.
Just being on the game is technically still working on the game.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But
So
like,
I can understand because some people, yeah, they're gonna do that. It's just the next person they have. Like you're still right. But I'm still gonna weigh that part out. Like
yeah, it's
obviously there's still the other half of it.
like that's
About
not
it.
necessarily like. So the thing with me is I don't have one answer. That was just the answer of what Mihoyo is saying in a perspective. That's what people are. They think that's just my one answer. Are you kidding me? I want a free like gene. Freaking, are you kidding me? I want a free gene on my main. You don't think I want a free gene? I'm just
Gene's
delving
really good.
deep, man. I'm delving deep here, man. Like I don't have most of the time. It's like, for example, when someone like kills somebody else, right? Like there's going to be sides of this of, oh yeah, I have this answer for that, or I have this. I'm a perspective guy that's like, I don't have one answer for that. I'm just gonna be like, oh okay, I see what you did here. Oh okay, I see what you did here. I don't have one answer. Same
It's
thing
too
with
complex of a situation to try to
Yeah.
answer with one thing.
Yeah, it's like the Mihoyo thing. Everyone's like, so you're supporting their greed. You're one of those people. And then I'm just like, hold on, excuse me. And this goes back to the spoiled thing, because a lot of people don't realize this. If you have access to the internet, you are very spoiled.
Oh yeah.
If you if you have access to the internet, you're one spoiled MF, because people don't realize how much they actually have. They're like, oh, I didn't get Ganyu, my life sucks, I'm sad. And I'm just like, bro, have you seen those people in third world countries that literally have nothing? They literally, one of them got really, and people are like, oh man, how do I get happy with myself? Learn how to appreciate what you have. That's my thing, because one thing I saw when I was going to these like third world countries, other countries, and visiting with my family is one thing can make a person happy. Like there was this game where you hopscotch, for example. People were tirelessly having fun doing that one thing. It's because they appreciate it. When you have too much, you don't appreciate it as much. That's why a lot of people have that stigma of the rich person is always like that spoiled brat, is because they have too much. That's a matter of perspective. Now, if someone looks at you and they're poorer than you, then they're going to think you're spoiled, and vice versa. It all depends. It's a matter of perspective.
It's mainly just like someone's always going to be better than you clause. So what are you going to do about it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when you give yourself that in a lot of situations, you start to realize just like the current excuse you're using just doesn't work. It just doesn't. It's what it is.
That's why also with anime, there has never been, I will quote this, and when I'm probably older me will agree with. I have never really seen a bad anime, and I've watched. The reason why, and of course I'm including Darling in the Franks and etc. The reason why is because in life, this is why people get more depressed. They look at more of the negatives than the positives. I guarantee you that. I can't do this. I can't do that. But you need to be able to respect yourself for saying, I was able to do this positively. Okay, what's the next thing? Instead of looking just at the negative. Again, it's all about balance. That's why a lot of people get really sad, really depressed, because you don't realize how lucky you are, especially if you're listening to this podcast. Realize how lucky you are, and in terms of YouTube, if you were to get one thing from my channel, it's more of getting something out of like this channel to improve yourself in your own daily life. It's not like, oh, it's time for me to suck your money in, like what a lot of other people do, and that's fine. If you like that person and they just want to take your money, then fine. It's just that way. But my thing is, if you get something from my channel, I'm satisfied from it. Like, it's the same thing. If we're to take one thing away from this podcast, a lot of people are depressed, sad, etc. I have been in that situation. I wanted to do unspeakable things to myself, and I'm not going to name it here because it's really sensitive. It was really, really bad before. I wanted to do like so many things because I felt like I was lost. I felt like I was, and this is why I thank my parents every day, because if I didn't do that, I don't know what would have happened. A lot of bad things would have happened, but essentially learning how to become more positive, learning how to have a balance, and in having fun in your life is key. Like to your point too, Ellie, about like college and stuff, because a lot of my cousins and a lot of other people are like, we're so forced into doing college I hate this. And I'm like, change your perspective, And this is not towards you because technically, I guess you're
No,
still
no,
figuring it out. But it's like,
yeah.
in terms of perspective, you need to think about, okay, what am I gonna be? What can I do here to make this more fun? Like, you can make anything fun. For example, in the exam, like everyone dreads it and they have this negative perception of it. But if you had a positive perception of it, like how I view it is achievements, kind of. Okay, I solved one. Okay, time for the next achievement too. It's all about perspective. So,
I guess there are parts I would wager against your previous points. I don't completely disagree with you, but I think the one thing I would bring up to you to remember sometimes is, like with learning languages, I've realized or come to terms with the fact that certain things aren't even understandable to other people if we don't even have a word for it. And this isn't, again, I don't think this is your whole mentality about this. This is just to the point you just made.
Oh yeah, this is all mixed, by the way. Yeah.
I know, so that's the reason I'm just saying it now, but this is still kind of a counter to it. If you don't have the word for it, you can't contemplate, or it's going to be extremely difficult for you to come up with that thing on your own.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Yes,
definitely.
people are in poorer or worse situations, but that doesn't necessarily translate to people being able to understand that said concept. Some people, because then they'll make the argument. The argument will go to, well, then you should see what they're like. Okay, you can. I'm gonna go watch it on television right now, but that still won't give me the same premise. Well, then go out and go see them. Well, some people don't even have the funds to leave,
Oh yeah.
right? That in itself is still a privilege. As a person, especially because I'm a person who has never really traveled to many other countries because I haven't been able to. Now I can, right? Now I know it's on me. I'm an adult. I can go do that myself if I wanted to. But if I was younger, well, that wouldn't mean anything to me. If you saying that I would go, well, I can't do any of this. You're just telling me to think about it differently. Which I don't know what I'm supposed to be thinking about. Like when it happened to EMT, we said a whole bunch of stuff earlier, but EMT was still asking us the same question on how do I get it to feel different? And then I'm still right now in my brain trying to contemplate what part of his perspective can I bring up to him to say, because like you brought up positivity, but I would argue sometimes for me it was negativity. When I went, I just want to rub it in their face how much more I can do better than you, that worked for me at a time. There are
Oh
other
yeah.
times where being positive, well, yeah, that got it out of me. I just really loved learning this stuff, like Japanese. That was a really fun class. I enjoyed every part of it. So it's really, I'd say, is what we were talking about earlier with understanding yourself, knowing both sides of yourself. Know your negative side as well. Know it very well if you can, because then you know the more maybe darker aspects to yourself. I know I can be very petty. I know I can be an angrier person. I know I can be I know I can hold a grudge, and I could use any of those things to keep motivating myself. However, the issue with using that half of yourself is you can't let it control you. Cuz people, they'll indulge in it and they'll never get away from it because it's easier. It's just what it is. Um But that's the only thing I'd say again with the positivity thing is sometimes, and I was also in a very bad place when I was younger, and the same kind of situation. Wouldn't have been as long. I don't think it wasn't as many things I was doing to myself. I was just gonna do something, but I had to be given the words for it. I'm mildly religious, so I'm not gonna go too far into this. I felt like at a point in time when I was younger, I was given words from God that motivated and changed my entire life, but I would have never thought of it at that time. So that completely moves my aspects. I have my own problems with religion and other stuff right now at my age, but I will never take that away from I felt like I was given so much from just two words. Changed my entire life. I would not be here. I would not have my family. I would not have affected as many people as I would not be talking to you right now without those two words in the back of my head. And I had to learn to see it differently, or had to be given to see differently. So that's about it.
It's like with when me and Ellie are talking too, there's no one answer because these are like
No.
philosophical types of things. Like, for example, what Ellie is trying to say about
It's got very philosophical, by the way.
the negative thing. I had it depends on the situation. Like, I've had those times where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna beat this guy's ass right here in this specific thing, and well, I wouldn't say that's technically negative, but Yeah,
No, again, I think the
yeah,
outcome is what makes it more
yeah,
negative or not,
yeah.
right? No.
But it just depends, honestly. Like, and it what is it called? My motto for myself: keep it simple now. Like,
Oh, the words I was given, those 2 words were do good. Has been pushing my entire life for a long time. A lot of times when I had to make decisions that were really rough, or if I just didn't feel like it, or if I couldn't stand the person or anything else, those typically came in the back of my head. Am I doing good right now? And then I had to ask myself, well, do good in just one thing? No. Do good can apply to basically almost anything, even in my worst positions or in places I don't think I should be in. The amount of times I've been in places I don't think I should have been in, but I still needed to help somebody else. That was my mind, dude. There was this one time I was at work, right? Prodigy. I'm picking up trash at work, right? I have this little grabber thing, right? And this dude who was really upsetting me at my job comes up to me. Like he upset me at my job about a month ago. And as I said, I'm so petty. He comes up to me, he goes, "Hey man, I dropped my key down this drain. Do you think you can use that picker upper? Like this is some sort of an RPG to grab his keys out of it?" Now I'm all like, freak, because I'm mad. Obviously, my funniest joke in stream I always say is God's writing me in a comedy, and I'll never take that. I swear to you right now, if I die, the first thing I'm gonna get is, "Did you like it?" That's gonna be the first
oh, nice.
stupid thing I hear. So I get over to the thing, and now I'm asking myself, do I help this prick? Do I just do it? Like I don't lose anything helping him, right? Right? If I do like the that's what you get. Well, I didn't gain anything from it. I literally got that job because I helped somebody else. They saw me help somebody and they went, "Hey, we want to hire you." You never know what it's gonna do
Yeah,
for
you
somebody,
never
even
know.
if you hate them. They might change they might become wonderful people. That should be way worth more than anything. That's the one thing I'll agree with you on the positivity scale. That should be worth. The one thing I don't want out of life is as much as I can be petty, as much as I can be vindictive, is I don't want to watch other people suffer for real. Suffering is awful. Life can be terrible. I'd rather you just move super far away, have a family with kids and everything else, and never think about me again. But at least you're happy, right? There's no reason to wish that kind of negativity on others. Like you can laugh, haha, he tripped. Like I'm not gonna say you won't enjoy that. Like obviously, some of you might enjoy that, right? But like long term, why? What does it say about me if I feel like the only way I can be happy is if they were miserable?
This kind of goes segues back into my like topic of balance. Like again,
Yeah.
this is why I feel like I figured a lot of things out because of balance. Because like what you said about positivity and negativity, and like in terms of that mindset, there is no really right or wrong answer. Someone could be like 1 plus 1 is whatever window. I don't really, but
Yeah.
it really doesn't matter. At least for me, I just keep it simple now. I don't. If I wanted to have a philosophical debate, like for example, Socrates, for example, would always be philosophical and like ask people questions. Like someone I would ask him a question, then he would give a question, and then so on and so on. And then I'm just like Shikamaru here, like, oh, that's such a drag. So I'll just tell it to you simply and plainly that I have not one answer, and there is no one answer to many of the questions that are sophisticated out there. There's really like that's why people have trouble with things like politics as well, and people
Mm.
have problems with things like, for example, people voted for this one person. I'm just like, okay, I could see that. And then someone tells me, oh, that's why they voted for this other person. Okay, I could see that. And then all these perspectives, I'm like, okay, I see it, I see it, I see it. Unless it's like completely like irrational, like it's like saying, I truly believe that most people in the world are good. That's just like, but there's also a fine line in philosophy for me. That's that there's really no good or bad technically because it's all like
They're all
good and bad
basically
are not
concepts you've
constants.
made up.
They're good and bad is
Yeah.
not constant because, for example, let's say we had this philosophical debate which was in my class. It was kind of childish to me. They were like, oh yeah, uh, morally, killing is wrong, for example. That's obvious, unless you're some crazed madman, which is the
Wait, it
exception.
wasn't. I'm gonna let you do your point. My bad. Go
No,
ahead.
but like, but like, if it's like an exception, then I'm just like, okay, unless it's like some crazed madman who like loves doing it, that's the exception of what good people technically are. But there's like some actual evil people in the world if you like I guarantee you, a lot of people haven't seen evil people in the world.
No, dude, it
But
takes like I think XQC recently, a lot of the streamers, they were watching a lot of the psychology of killers videos. Yeah. Yeah. Golly, dude. Some of those people were just
oh yeah,
Hey, I was lost for words, man. I was lost for words.
and that's also what life is about, being at a loss for words so you can learn more things. Because people are like, oh dude, Justin, it's way too hard, or oh, this is way too, like, I can't do this. And then I'm like, then what's the meaning of life to you then? For me, the meaning of life is just keep getting yeeted in until I figure it out in simple everyday terms. Just keep going through it and then you'll figure it out. That's just how I live. I'm just like, no, I'm just chill. Everyone's trying to make everything so complicated. Not everything has to be so complicated. Like when people have their tier lists in anime, like it's the whole a notion of the bandwagon effect. This is why I go to school, just learning all this. Like the whole bandwagon effect. People are like, oh man, I hate Eula. Am I really gonna be like, oh yeah, I hate Eula too now? No.
The psychology said that they put him in a room with 5 people. All it took was 5 people agreeing on something. It can get you.
Yeah, it's like that whole thing about if you tell one person one thing on one end of the table, the other end of the table will have a different answer. It's the same thing. Yeah. That's why when people get over analyzing, I'm like, hey, stop right there, man. We're just in simple terms. This is what you mean, because overthinking is going to make you depressed. Trust me. I've been there.
Boy.
I've been there.
Oh boy. I haven't left. I'm still there.
like that's why like, and then again, this comes to the problem of me trying to reach out to people as well. And hopefully this doesn't do that to you, Ellie, because sometimes I might be like, hey, yo, how you feeling? Because I always do that to peeps, or like especially when I know them. I'm just like, hey, nice. I'm just oh my god.
Oh, I love it. Oh, it's brilliant. Oh, I'm not too bothered by it. If I feel like people are being overwhelming, I just let them know. I just don't. Like, again, I don't have a filter on it. I just be like, hey, man, it's a bit much. I'm doing all right. You're good. Don't worry. But this, I mean, because it's like, should be no reason why you're mad. People are trying to be helpful. You can be annoyed, obviously, but annoyed isn't the same thing as hatred. You know, I don't feel like they should be coincided. Yeah.
No, because here's the thing. I'm gonna essentially explain to what happens when I like communicate. And I'm like, okay, this person's cool. So what happens is, this is what I do with my cousins, and I think this annoyed the hell out of them because, so what I would do essentially, like. Before it used to be every day, but now I do it like a little bit. So because they're younger, so I'm like, okay, they have time. Don't lie, you have time. And then when people like, this is the whole thing about people who say that they're busy. I'm like, you can make time for things that you want to do as well, but then that means you'd have to drop the things that are really important, or else you would deal with the consequences, etc. But what I do tell people is, especially when they're younger, the reason why I try to talk to especially my younger cousins is because I don't want them to deal with what I dealt with in high school. A lot of them are pretty nice off right so far, at least as much as I know. And then the thing about me is, it's a simple thing. I'm not like a Mr. If I'm coming off as a Mr. Know-it-all right here, like that's not. Like, I still listen to people, and I'm still learning constantly every day. I love learning. If I knew everything, then I just, like, yeet myself out of existence, because what's the use?
If you knew everything, we'd be sitting right now on your 10 bajillion podcasts while we're listening to every person on YouTube would be watching us, and I would be making $5 bajillion right now from just sitting here.
Yeah, I mean,
that's where we'd be at right now.
Yeah, it's literally all about just learning. That's the beauty of life, just learning. That's just, I just have fun. But essentially, like, whenever I talk to Paulo, for example, and I talk to probably you in the future, Ellie, I'm just like, hey, I'll always check in every once in a while. Hey, how you guys doing? That's essentially what I do. And then I'm like, hey, you want to play some games, you know? Because if you wait for a while, then you'll obviously be more alienated from that person. And then that's why I I hate doing that. That's what I do with my cousins as well, and it annoyed them because there was this one stretch where we all like played together, and then essentially I found my outlet in like playing with my younger cousins because the people who were my age were pieces of shit that were really conceited. So then I was like, eh. So I decided, okay, let me go to someone who's, like, oh yeah. But now that I've noticed, and hopefully, I guess they don't really watch this as well, but I noticed that they just dodge me or just completely ignore me now. So I'm like, okay, I don't like, and it's not supposed to be like a petty thing. And I understand people are really busy, and I understand the perspective of, okay, you don't like answer now, but like generally I could feel like I feel okay, they don't want me to talk to them anymore and they close me off. All right, fine. So then I just go to the next. Yeah.
I think you're talking to the right person because I missed or shut off everything.
No, but but for you it's for you it's different though. Do you, like, these are like kids, if you know what I mean.
No, I know that. I'm saying that, but I think it's still same. I think the reason why I'm saying that for them for being kids is like, let's say it was the worst. Let's say they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of my cousin calling me every freaking 5 seconds. I can't stand him anymore. They don't mean that. What they're saying is, right now I'm younger. I need a lot of space, and I don't really know that I need a lot of space, and I don't know how to tell them that, right? So like with most people, especially because I've grown up this way, my father's this way, I'm this way. I don't need to tell anybody anything unless I feel like there's something of value to be said. So like, half of my friends when COVID happened, they were like, "Oh my gosh, I thought you died. You said nothing." And I was like, "Well, I mean, if you needed anything, you could have texted me."
Yeah.
Second of all, I'm focused. Like, I am drilled. It's what makes me happy.
Oh yeah. I learned that.
What I am.
But that's what I thought at the time. That's why I said.
No, I know.
Yeah, that's why Eula would have never looked twice at that guy. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
but, yeah.
God. I mean, with tier lists, because I'm getting closer. We're getting closer to my endure time. I'm getting like, we only have like an hour left. Do you want to talk about the tier list?
Yeah, we'll do like 10 more minutes of this and then just talk between ourselves. This was a pretty long podcast, so we're pretty good. So we'll just talk after.
Hopefully it was good for you guys.
Yeah,
so
hopefully it was good for you guys, but
ironically, because this goes about my mindset, right? This is when I go like, oh man. So like, I have two parts of my brain, right? There's me, and then there's that other me who's trying to do this.
I love these freeze frames.
Do it again.
I will never get tired of these freeze frames.
Just think of this.
I love this.
My brothers had to catch me on this because I'll be like, I need to be working right now. So like, even when I'm doing the podcast right now, my brain will also tell me, well, what could you have done today with the same amount of time? And I go, well, I don't know what I could have done today.
I do the same thing.
I do the same thing.
Oh, it was definitely good for me. Well, that's good.
I hate you, Andre. No, he's being a prick. He might be not being a prick. You're a prick.
I mean, it doesn't look. I mean, we'll see. I don't know.
We'll see. If so, I apologize, Andre, for the first time as friends. You get it from me now on stream. I apologize, Andre. We have a very petty vendetta.
Oh, but to put it simply, for Genshin tier list, you have Eula at the top of like 50,000 stairs. Then you have like Jean, like in the middle, like Sarah in the middle, I guess.
Mine's pretty big. And my top tier is like so full. Keep going.
I don't even. I just make it simple. I just put Eula on top because have you seen that podcast with Tectone with what's his name? Not podcast. The tier list with Goose Egg. He was like, "What's good with no?" So he was saying how bad Eula is. So then I was just sitting there and I was like, okay, I see a perspective. And then literally Tectone couldn't like come up with a good argument. So I'm like, hey, sub me in. Sub me in, man.
Sub me in.
And then people were like, dude, she was just you. Like, I forgot exactly. I'll show it to you after what he said. But yeah, he was like, dude, look at all these other people as well. And then why would you go for Eula when you can go for any of these? Essentially, his wife was pretty much were hollows. But
like Hu Tao and
yeah, pretty much,
else.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go through my because they're different personalities. Right?
Yeah, that's pretty much mine. I don't really need.
I had Ayaka, Mona, Eula, and then Yai. We'll see how Yai goes. Yai could lose her place.
Oh yeah, Yai is up there.
Yeah,
too. I like how she's sarcastic. I like.
Ayaka and I are basically two sides of the same coin. I would almost wager to people. People who are basically trapped inside with a lot of responsibilities that they're forced to take care of. Because of that, they might end up being a bit more sheltered than they would hope. They have the dreams of wanting to explore, wanting to do more with their lives, but currently they're in a situation that doesn't allow them to. But as they're able to open up and see different parts of the world, they're able to experience it, but they're also mature about the way they handle that. And I'm pretty sure I've been in that place quite a bit in my life. So those are two things I'd find very relatable. Obviously, someone's gonna make the joke, booba. Yes. However, I way before almost everybody else did when they were really upset about it. When they heard design, where they were all like, "Oh my gosh,
Dude,
she just looks like a
when you see a bunch
character."
of when you see a bunch of fan service, you get really immune to things. Like, I don't really give a shit about
Yeah.
a lot of things because
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care if she has the biggest whatever blank. I don't really care. Like,
That will only
it'll-
make you C tier. That
yeah,
to me, that only gets you
yeah.
C tier. You look nice, but there's nothing to you that I care about. Um,
Eula.
Next was Mona, Eula. Eula, obviously, for a lot of the same reasons you did, but for me, I guess when I was younger, I was a bit of a social outcast. People used to call me weird all the time. In high school, then I was Mr. Popular. But before that, it was a lot of, who is this guy? Right? I got a lot of that. Specifically, too, I like the fact that she's standing on her own moral rules, regardless of what other people are saying to her. I like the fact that she keeps on that vengeance vendetta. I'm so glad she wasn't just everybody's punching bag. She's a prick to other people. They deserve it. However, she doesn't take that to the edge of the earth. She's not the worst person in the world. It cracked me up so much. One of my favorite scenes of Eula is when she goes over to those guys and talking like the Lawrence way, but you can tell she's still not good at it. So she comes off as a complete idiot while she's trying to talk to them, and then because that's just not how she talks. She's still a prick, but she doesn't talk that way. I would say I and Eula are more alike than I and Ayaka in the background. I can see what you feel like that. And then Mona I love Mona because I guess I am a big fan for a dork who tries their best. And also my big thing I always bring up is Mona never ask you for money. She never asks you for money. And the reason why I like that is because she's so stubborn onto her principles on what an astrologist should be. She won't even let up. Not for 5 seconds. She tries ordering a salad for herself. And to me, if there's any person in my life I think I would love to treat, it's a person who's so stubborn that they're not mean about it. They just can't admit it. I would tease the living crap out of a person like that for probably the rest of their life.
Oh, you're like a tsundere guy then.
I'm a bit of a prick, yes. All of us, I've already said, our whole group, you're all just a bunch of tsunderes.
I mean, everybody is a tsundere, but everybody is a tsundere in their own right. Like, most men are tsunderes. They're like, oh, I can't ask for help. Baka or whatever the heck.
Yes.
So that's literally, you're talking about all of humanity right there.
Oh my gosh. I think I'm only saying it for myself because chat specifically likes to call me on the fact I seem to have sadist tendencies where there's stuff that they probably shouldn't laugh at that I'd probably laugh at first.
Oh, nice.
That's all. Yeah, that's the reason why I had to state it. And I know I've been like that for a long time. Sarah could almost get herself up there. Yai is kind of in a situation of I like her playful sassiness. It's not sassiness that I'm rude. It's sassiness that she's rude, but she's doing it teasing you. I like the fact that how much she gave care to her friends. However, she doesn't need to go all about she doesn't just plaster it on a wall. And I feel like I'm a little bit more like that, except when I really get to know somebody. But other than that, I'd usually keep it a little bit more on the down low. I'm obviously looking out for you, but I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna let you figure it out, right? I really enjoyed her part in the story so far. Again, she can move. It might go lower, it might go higher. We'll see. And Sarah could have the possibility of going a bit higher. At first, I didn't like her design as much because I didn't like the skirt. I wanted armor, and that bothered me for a really long time. It's a very small thing.
Hence why I said to Saber.
yeah, Saber. Ayaka has it too. I've already made the joke before. Half of the waifus I had on my list beforehand, because Urza was on that list for a second too. Had armor, and then Andre was like, "You seem to have an armor fetish or something." And I was like,
"But
you
know, a 3x3 tells a lot about you."
Oh yeah, it does.
I will tell a lot about. For example, Hollows. He hasn't made an official. But
no, he's done something similar. I might have to tell him to send it to you. He's done something like that. Something close.
Yeah, I'll message him to send it to me or something. But yeah,
a lot of sucroses. A lot of
There's
sweet
like always
crystals.
like the good thing is you guys have a mix. One of my friends, his like whole thing is the whole I always like to call him a beta male. About because I'm like, yo, you need some help because if you like to get kicked and slapped around, I mean that's up to you, man.
I mean,
Like,
no king shaming. You know what I'm saying?
no, that's fine with you, man. If you want like Sarah to put her like thing up your throat, that's up to you, man. Like, I've seen some
I
crazy
wasn't
things that
expecting to
people
go that
said.
far, but
Like,
yeah, nah, that's the
like
thing.
people have said weird things to me that they're like, oh, dude, I wish that. For example, people always talk about Eula's thighs. Oh, I want to just sleep on them. First of all, you'll get cut
Okay.
before you do that. Second of
Pause,
all,
pause. Sorry. I'm gonna have to stand up for the rest of the people here. I agree with them. How dare you? That I might be risking my life, but I'm risking my
no,
life like
I
a.
do agree with them. I'm just saying.
Okay,
Are
all
you
right. I
kidding
just
me?
want to make sure we're all here. I gotta check
Again,
people.
remember, it is very hard for me to disagree with someone. It's very hard for me. Like most of the time when people say something, I'm just like, yeah.
Yo, Andre in the chat said, "Oi."
Like people are gonna talk about, like, for example, Eula's thighs. Oh my god, I want to
Oh, I'm
sleep
dead.
between cocoa goat milk or whatever the heck people are talking about.
Yeah, no, I
And then
no.
and then I'm just here like, yo, first of all, touch some grass, man.
Touch some
Come
grass,
on.
yes.
First of all, touch some grass. Like, for example, like how I love balance. Again, how important balance is for your life.
Oh,
Half of my brain is like, oh, dude, look at Eula go, and then the other half is like, go to like H word jail. You know what I mean? Even though I already said it.
yeah.
Like I have a balance in my brain, so people are
Oh my
like,
gosh.
people, however, don't. Like, it's not even just
No,
guys.
no,
It's
no,
just, it's also girls too. People
no.
are like, oh man,
I was
I
so
want to.
mad, dude. I was so mad when because and this isn't all the ladies here. Obviously, again, this is not all of you. But there were certain ladies on Twitter specifically who were getting super upset about people like enjoying what was the Honkai waifus, and I go on their profile page and it's nothing but like child Luke's face, half of it sometimes like yaoi stuff. You know what it is? Like stop talking as if you are the matriarch of balance on how you think about your male characters. No, you're not. Last month it was nothing but a bunch of Ito's abs and pecs. Stop capping.
God.
Stop capping. Again, I just say if you're gonna do it, be honest with other people. All right? All right? If we're gonna put rules down, have rules. You can't have it both ways. No. 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 You better dude, did you see all the amount of his abs and pectorals that were everywhere? You're talking about, oh man, Toma got a few, but Toma didn't get nearly as much as when Ito came out.
You know it's really funny too when they talk about Eula. People would be like, my dream with Eula is so I can sleep on her thighs, etc., or whatever." What I would do, I would just provoke her. I'd be like, that tsundere side, I'll just pull it out of her. I'll be like,
He
hey,
said,
hey, yo,
me.
hey, yo, let's play some Mario Kart. I'll just continuously beat her and piss her off. Because I know for a fact that if I pick an activity that would,
she'll want to kick your butt in it.
yeah,
Yes.
she'll be like, vengeance will be mine. I'll be like, okay, and then she'll just keep getting mad. I just have fun with those types of.
I just think with like, a lot of this stuff,
But
I just feel like if people aren't being like problematic about it, then just let them enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you husbando collectors, because I talk so much smack about Tartaglia on my stream because I hate him as I hate his character as a person, not like his character. I think he's really well written, but like if I was
No,
to be in a room with
like
that
saying,
guy,
it's like saying
I'd lose my mind.
Poof. It's like saying Shia Poof in.
I have not.
Oh, okay,
No,
never mind.
not,
but everybody hates this dude, and like good writing, but everyone hates that dude. So I know what you mean.
Yeah. Him, Kaya. I have a certain type of person I just automatically don't like. Him, Kaya. Who's the Scaramouche? All three of them. I'd throw them I'd push them down some stairs. However, if you like them, if you're over on Twitter going like, oh my gosh, Kaya's eye patch and like drooling over it, I don't give a crap. That's your life. Freak do I care? I would say how much I don't have going on in mine if I was like so physically bothered that you like Kaya. That's all. That's the reason I'm getting on that one. Oh,
the whole Twitter canceling Eula.
yeah,
That was
or
funny.
just in general, just being hypocritical. Like that just bothers me, right? It's just stop. And I'm sure there's things I'm hypocritical about, right? Like everybody kind of is at
Everybody
some
is a
point.
hypocrite. Are you kidding?
But just let him have it. Again, when they were talking about the abs, I wasn't like, how dare you talk about him only about his abs? You don't even care about his character, even though it's not out yet, so there's no way they could. The only thing they have is visuals. But how dare you? I'm writing a 5-page essay on why you have told Ito that he's only abs. Like, shut the frick up. Just shut the frick
I
up.
mean, like, it's the same thing when I tell Hollow, like, for example, I remember before, and he hypocritical about this now because I'm pretty sure he pulled money out of his I even told him on the podcast when I did it with him, better not pull it out of that savings, man. He's like, oh yeah, for sure I won't. Come on, man. You pulled it out. Don't do it.
No, I think he's no. As much as hollow caps, I think he's genuinely covered. It's probably again.
Oh no, because I keep forgetting
was it physically
that, yeah,
in his savings? Probably, but no, that man's covered. That man's covered. Golly, that man's covered. I didn't think he was. I thought he was less covered than what I learned as of yesterday. That man's covered.
Oh, okay.
Last minute
Then we're
done.
Then we're good. Then he still
he already knows.
His end of the bar.
I wouldn't let him have it. Do you know C Tactics? You know Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben would never let him live on that. We'd chew him out. Kyle's McIles, she'd chew him out. We'd all chew him out about that. There's no way. I'm the gotcha guy. I'm the one who technically got him into the game. No.
You know what's really funny? When I started playing Genshin Impact, like way a while back, and then I took a break until Eula came out because the moment I heard that she's Makoto's voice actor, I said, "What?" So then I hopped in.
I didn't even know it was the same voice actor.
Disappointment. All right, guys, we're ending the stream, guys. I'll see you guys. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh! Listen, man, I haven't played Persona. I said this at the start of the call.
The same. They're the same Japanese voice actor. That's.
Oh, I figured. Yeah, I figured. I don't know as many people who like play dub religiously.
So now on the other side of the spectrum, I can be like, "Hey, Hollow, you're supporting Rem because Hutao's VA is."
Bro, I never used to let him live with that. I used to always tell him I would DM him and be like, "Oh my gosh, you still like Rem? Oh my gosh, you still love Remu. He'd be so pissed. I'd send him the Remu graphics garbage.
But see,
I'm such a dick.
that one day, like, because that one day I meet him in real life, I'll just pull out Rem. I'll be like, "Hey, yo,"
that's what we got to do.
No, it's more fun. That's what I told Hollow. Like, one of these days, you need to meet up somewhere. That's what I told him. And then I'm like, he's probably gonna have to come to Cali because I ain't going to Hawaii, bro.
Bro, I know what I'm gonna do to him now. You just gave me an idea.
Oh, I have a lot of ideas for him, like, to do.
Please send them to me. Please, when this is over, you DM me.
I mean, you still have like 40 minutes, right? Because we have like in 2 minutes, I'm gonna end the podcast. How long do you have left?
Oh, I thought we were gonna still talk about the Fire Emblem waifus on stream. I was gonna give you a whole extra, maybe like 30 extra minutes.
We could say that in 30 seconds. Marianne, there you go. Like, if you read the,
I wanted to talk about why. I mean, some of why.
But no, I mean, but it's gonna last forever. So, like, Marianne, for example,
the point.
If you read, yeah, but you don't have time though. That's why you see what I'm doing here. I'm trying to milk the cow here. Do you see what I'm doing here?
All right.
We can definitely do this when when we schedule something.
Get him to play Fire Emblem.
No, he ain't gonna play Fire Emblem. But dude,
when I finally convince him and trick him,
dude, Marianne, like dead serious. Like, it's the same thing, kind of like and Makoto bring you to that next stage, I guess. Like, if you read her story, like if you pair her with Dimitri, oh man.
I haven't seen that in quite a minute.
You haven't seen that. That's what I'm saying. Once you see
I've seen their interactions. I have to rewatch it.
Oh no. You need to see, like, no, I mean, like, specifically those two married. Like,
yeah.
You wouldn't expect something like that from Marianne. But now I'm like, oh well. So you
because I know Dimitri's character. That's actually a really good pairing now that I think about it.
That's funny. It's cringy. Why I actually really like Dimitri.
Why?
Like the whole Wait, you played through
Crazy
it, right?
Boar King. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the reason why I actually liked him is because it reminded me of that that other side that I had. That's why I was like, respect.
I put it together when you said it. Yeah.
That's why I was like,
You're almost edgier than I am.
I'm
And
just like,
my hair was literally in the shape of Shadow the Hedgehog yesterday, while wearing black and red, and you're almost edgier than I am. Keep going.
dude,
Go
I'm
ahead.
just like that Dimitri man. Like he cool dog. I
He's
like
gonna
him.
get a man. He's gonna get a friend named Felix, and he's gonna go. Don't trust him. He's a wild boar. That's what,
Dude,
he's gonna have a. He's gonna have a
I
hype
think I
man.
used to see. Oh, but Felix was like an actual homie though. I had someone who is exactly like Felix, but he was actually being Felix, if that makes sense. So, and he's not really a friend now, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. My top one was, again, it's the same thing. I don't know what it is with, again, if she's mildly a dork but still tries to give effort, I lose my. It's the only time my edgy side seems to go down. And maybe
I'm not gonna
internally,
say anything to that.
I think I'm a dork. Maybe say maybe internally, maybe I think I'm a dork. Who's
that
best.
type that you just have. I'm not gonna say anything. Play through the game.
Oh my gosh.
Fire Emblem is going to
listen. I have a general gist about most of the characters. Again, some of the cutscenes or whatever else to tell me. Bernie freaks out way too much. She's scatterbrained half the time, but like when she puts in her best effort, you just want to praise her. Just as simple as it is, right? Like I don't really have anything to say. Also, one of my better units takes care of almost everything as a sniper and as a bow knight. It's freaking crazy.
Oh yeah, in my chat, I think one of them was okay. Before we go, because pretty much, did you want to say anything about your wife?
I was just having to give you 20 minutes. We're still gonna give you 20 more minutes. We said 20 minutes if you wanted it. Oh gosh.
Again, I think I was gonna talk to you about other stuff too. So we'll just.
Oh, personal kind of stuff. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So. Okay, this either may piss you off or may not piss you off.
I know people here like Monika. Show yourselves.
So, Ellie, what do you think about Monika, huh?
I freaking hate her guts. She's manipulative to the point that she's just trying to trap you, and she's so insecure about herself that she tries to make sure that everybody else looks ugly, and everyone's gonna make the fact that if whatever. Okay, spoilers alert. So close your ears right now for the next. I'm gonna have my hand up while I'm spoiling.
Oh my god,
hand goes down.
Wait, that freeze frame. Look at it. Wait, pause. Look at it. It's so funny.
Yeah, wait.
I love this.
I hate this. I'm gonna have my hand up while I'm talking about this. Great, and my hand will go down unless it freezes. So while my hand is currently up, I'm going to be spoiling. It's gonna freeze. It's gonna keep going. Anyways, I'm gonna wait for it to go up because it's gonna be on this thing. Okay, cool. All right, great. So my thing with Monika specifically, even if you talk about her being in the presidential spot, that makes her crazy. Sayori gets the president spot, and what's the first thing she does when she does it? She immediately tells you she knows everything that happened, and instead of putting all her problems, let's say she did just kill everybody in the background, whatever else, she goes straight to you. It takes her not more than 5 seconds to break the game just to come talk to you. So even in that regard, Sayori is still better than Monika. And you're going to say, well, Monika couldn't take over the game. Based off how the game is written and how they're breaking the fourth wall, she could. She ends up doing it anyways. She breaks the game. So all she had to do was break the game just to get to you. At that point, I'm not attached to the other characters. So to me, they don't mean anything. I just be like, oh, well, she stopped the game. She just wants to talk to me about something. Sayori does it immediately. She's still creepy when she does it. Don't take me wrong on that. All the girls still have their creepy moments. My point to you is, out of all of them, it's Monika. Monika's the creepiest. She's the most manipulative. She doesn't go out of her way to just talk to you because she's too insecure about it. And then when she finally does, she does this weird worm portal where you're sitting in a room together and space and time are going off. And the most offsetting. She's even trying to make herself seem better to you. She just like, love me for how I am. No! Screw off! Freaking prick! Gosh, dang it. All right, my hand's going down. God, I can't stand Monika. Oh,
I love that freeze frame. I love it.
Is it me looking off to the side? Is it the same? I freaking hate this game.
I love this. This is gonna be, oh man, I love this.
This becomes a meme, I'll be pissed.
I love this. I love this. Okay.
Golly, I hate that character.
And by the way, Happy. Oh yeah, Happy says Monika best girl. By the way,
they know. All of them love it. They do it on my stream every time because they know it pisses me off. That's the reason why they do it.
But yeah. happy. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Like, again, we have, if you're talking about school and stuff, I have like a bunch of other podcasts, and we're gonna be doing it more later with Ellie if he is interested and he likes this, because I'm assuming
available. We'll see.
I'm assuming Ellie's having a fun time right now.
Right now it's fine. Yeah, I just don't make any promises. We'll see when I get there. This is when it goes. We'll just go.
I mean,
it should be fine.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Of course, there's no guarantees with anything. So I mean,
I know. I just always say it. Hollow does it to me a lot. I'll wake up every morning whenever Hollow's about to stream, and you know he did it today. He goes, "Ellie, wake up! I'm just stream today. I'm doing it. $500." I just dude, I don't know. Yeah, you. That's about it. I don't think you're gonna.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm gonna give you like whenever I ask people for podcasts as well, I always give them about like 5 days.
You're
in
a
advance.
scheduling man. It seems.
7 days in advance, because I don't be like, hey, wake up! It's podcast time, Ellie. It's time.
I'm gonna kick him.
Imagine you could just picture Hollow. Hello, this is holographic. Hey, Ellie, get up.
Well, no, even EMT, I enjoy ranting about characters I hate. There's a reason why I hate them, right? That's about it. Still learning about yourself, even with characters you hate.
Other than hating Monika, he seems to like this. Okay, guys. That's gonna be it for the podcast. I hope you guys